everyone, and welcome to REZOcast episode 125. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hove, Triton, Wilson, Mana, and our special guest from Resolute this week. We've got Mav. What's up, man? How's it going?
Oh, rip Mav's audio.
No, I'm just messing.
Fucking
Things are going great. How are you guys doing?
That was great. That was so good. I really thought we had some serious audio problems for a second. I was like, oh no, crap, what?
Just stand and smile.
I have to do something ridiculous.
That happened to me once in public. I freaked out and everyone was quiet. I thought it was happening again. So I was like, no, not again.
How you guys doing? It's been too long.
Dude, it really has. We really appreciate you coming back on, man. What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Oh, so Destiny. No Man's Sky.
Ooh, yeah.
Marvel Lego Superheroes 2.
That sounds fun. Very fitting.
Respect it.
Tonight.
It's an awesome game. But yeah, pretty much just Destiny and No Man's Sky. That's all I've been stick with.
Nice. Well, I got to bring up at this point, we're all making a sacrifice tonight as Captain Marvel came out, and we're not at the theaters.
Oh, I have my tickets for tomorrow morning. I took off work.
Yeah, me too.
So
Yeah,
did it just come out?
Today. Yeah, tonight.
I'm gonna take a hard pass.
Oh,
Really?
yeah. Well,
Who said
Good,
that?
right out of my house.
Who said that? I don't
I'm
know who
gonna
said
take
that.
a hard pass. He knows who said it.
Oh,
Go play some
dare you.
fucking. Go play some Pokemon Go or something instead.
oh my god.
Brie Larson, man. Come
Something
on.
constructive.
I want to interject real quick that Hove always makes a big deal about like not inviting him somewhere, this or that, but I did not get a Friday morning Captain Marvel invite from Hove.
Do you want to go?
I can't, but
Because you work on Fridays, right? And I'm a good friend,
I
so I already
do.
knew that.
You know what, Hove? This is almost as bad, and I guess I don't know if it was it last week. Okay, I happened to check the REZOcast Twitter account, and all you and Mana were planning on getting together, and it wasn't until you texted me. I will give you credit. You texted me to come out. Then Mana's like, "Well, we all figured you had kids and things to do and work or whatever." Which ended up being true.
So wait, so
but
all you're
still.
saying is that I'm the one who actually was like,
Hey,
"Hey,
you did help me out there, Hove, as a one-time thing." And I mean, it's comparison with Mana too. I mean, so you're saying like you did a better job than Mana. Mana basically just saying like,
Just so you know,
Can I just ask?
Guys, we got peer pressured hard that night.
what do you mean
I
we? Whoa. What do you mean we?
You peer pressured my roommates.
I feel like your roommates are very, very susceptible to suggestion, and then they peer pressured
yes.
you.
No, I didn't have a choice.
It's kind of like peer pressure.
Not really.
Is this still about that fabled Wednesday night?
Yeah.
I think
I was literally at a basketball game.
I'm
when
still
this
salty
happened,
about it.
No, you're not.
I'm
very
No, in all seriousness, I was a little concerned because there's a point where I actually stopped Mana, and I was like, "So Mana, for real, like, how mad are you at me?" He was like, "I'm pretty annoyed," and I was like, for real?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, like, are you gonna like be mad? Like, is this like a big
I was like,
deal?
no, I'll get over
He
it.
was like, "I'll get over it," but still was like pretty pissy. And then as he was leaving, he was like, "All right, see you later. I hate you. Play games with me soon." And I was like, "Okay, we're cool." And then he hasn't asked me to play any games in the past 8 days. And I was like,
Okay, well that's okay. I miss it. Also, I don't eat seafood, and I was working at the time. I was like, literally
I don't
at a
eat
game
seafood
when
either.
that
I got a
happened,
burger,
so.
and they all laughed
He got
at
a
me.
burger. I've
Really,
only
have
heard.
burgers at Joe's Crab?
Listen, here's the worst part. They drove 2 hours to Pittsburgh from not a city, and I was like, I can take you to so many good restaurants across like a large metropolitan area, and I couldn't talk them out of Joe's Crab Shack.
My roommate.
Anyway.
got to sleep up there. He just really wanted Joe's Crab Shack. I told him, I was just like, yo, Hove knows a lot more. He's just like, I really want it. And
That's
my
what,
other
that's
roommate's
what he
like,
told the
I'm just
stripper
here.
later too.
Oh, wow. Well, Season of the Drifters out, y'all. And we've got Mav here who said he's been playing some Destiny. I want to get everybody's thoughts on it. There's so much new that has come out. But before we get all our thoughts, I want to start with Mav first. What do
I don't
you
have
think
thoughts.
about everything?
So I've done maybe 10 hours of it. And
Oh, that's a good bit. Yeah.
I found out I love invading, maybe mainly because I'm that jerk that goes through with the colony and wipes out the entire team in one go. And I've been getting hate mail, and it's lovely. I haven't gotten hate mail in a long time. But yeah, no, I love the changes. I love how they've set up the dynamic. I love how everyone has jobs.
I
You
liked
really
it better
have
when
to
I
work
didn't have a
as
job.
team.
Like when I was in
I
like,
mean, but you're
kindergarten.
lazy, so that makes sense.
You're not wrong.
I'm no.
Hope just like.
Anyways,
sit in
yeah,
the
no,
back
it's
and
great.
get the ammo.
I love every aspect of it. I'm a mainly a huge fan of the fact that they've changed the ads that spawn in when someone banks from the other team.
The
Yeah.
I
blockers,
like
yeah.
that it's more difficult. I'm annoyed as hell by the fact that whenever I get Vex, I've got a nasty Hydra that it's going to take me 5 hours to kill, but it's fun. And I'm actually winning in PvP, kind of PvP, which never happens for me because I suck.
It is kind of PvP. I'm totally with you on some of the changes. That I feel like this week I got to try out most everything that, or at least like Gambit Prime and the old Gambit changes. I just finished doing that with Marcus and Spiffy. We were just running through because they were trying to get powerful gear stuff, and then the Reckoning too. Got to try that out. But I agree with you on particularly, like, I think my favorite part so far is the in Gambit Prime, the invader, the not invader, the taken that you send over, the classifications of them, and the way that when there's two of them, it drains their moats from their bank. Like, I think that is just like a top-notch change because it like enables you to do so many different plays. You have more strategy options than you had previously. I think it's pretty cool.
Especially when they drop in and that sound starts happening, that dong noise, and you start going, "What, is no one out there?" And then everyone runs back, and someone's getting killed by ads, and it's a mess. And there's no communication because you're playing with blueberries. It's great. I love it.
Was a lot of your playtime with blueberries, or was it like with a team? Did you play the team much, or was it primarily solo?
No, so I actually had I played with Clarence and DBM,
DVM, yeah.
DBM
Yeah,
yesterday. So we went a couple rounds in there and did kind of good, kind of bad. And the day before when it launched was with my regular guys that I normally play with, so Aubergine King and Ian Mack, and so normally it's 3-4 people, but a couple rounds I went with blueberries, and it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. There's no communication. One guy wants to do one thing, another guy thinks he can do another thing, and it becomes just an absolute mess.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But hey, it's still fun.
Yeah, so you're having fun with it. I see you're like enjoying some of the different changes, and I kind of agree with you on a lot of the things you just said. Even if there's like one blueberry on the other team, I've noticed it can mess up or one blueberry on your team. It messes up the organization of whatever you have planned. Like, say you're like, okay, I'm going to wait to kill the third envoy until their invader comes, and then the blueberry just runs in there and he like kills him real quick, and you're like, crap, and then he invades and it like screws up everything you were planning to do, you know? So definitely get that.
I generally just get good.
Is that your strategy?
Yeah.
Ditto.
How's that working out this week, Hove?
The only game I've lost so far is when I played with you, so I don't know. That's true, actually.
Yeah, I know. That was the one game I lost too, is when I played with you. That's weird.
It's almost like we're oil and water, Lego. It's almost
If you guys
like
just joined me, you would have lost every game. So there's a goal.
It's
right
almost
there.
like you're a good Southern Christian boy, and I kidnap Mana and take him to the strip club.
Almost.
How long is this story going to go on for? I'm just curious.
This is the first time-
You really hold on to things, Hove.
This is the first time I've talked to Mana since then, so literally 0 minutes since.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's fair. I also know that other than just Gambit Prime and Reckoning the PvE stuff, Mana and Wilson saw y'all going hard in comp this week. I did a little bit with Wilson when it first kicked off, almost like right from the get-go. Me and Wilson jumped in and doing comp. It went pretty well. Well, until later that night, I guess. Huh, Wilson?
Yeah, so booted up with Lego. And keep in mind, I hadn't played in a couple weeks, and Lego gets two really cool guys. What was it? Big Red and who else was it? Lego?
Did I lose Wilson?
No,
Nope,
we
No,
lost
lost
you.
you.
No, I was asking you for
Oh,
a second.
yeah.
I was like, it was Big Red, and who else did you invite? That was invited?
Hostile Galaxy. Yeah, he was
Hostile
playing
Galaxy.
in
Sorry about
last
that.
ranks, yeah.
Shout outs to those guys, two really cool, chill PvP players who are
Yeah.
insanely good. And I hadn't played in a while, dude. So like we were cracking up at like some of my derps, like for the first like 5-6 games until it took me a while to get my thumbs back. And we did really good. We shot straight up to 1100. I think the only game we dropped was to Blinks and ZK Mushroom, which are
Oh right.
yeah, pretty big, hardcore
Which
PvP
he-
guys.
Which later on I realized ZK was the first person to get the submachine gun, the
Yeah.
new. And so losing to him, I was like, well, I mean, come
You
on.
stepped over
like-
us to get it. That's the way
Yeah.
I look at it. Respect, but you stepped over us. No, I'm kidding. But then I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just do a little solo queue and beat my head against the wall for a deduction of like 450 points.
Oh.
Logged back on today, got back up to like 1200. Took a break, came back, played with Mana and Gunga and Merc, and we did pretty well for the most part, except for the game that Mana got disconnected. It was
The
really weird.
two games, by the way.
Oh,
Two
you got
games.
disconnected. Ah.
Twice.
Yeah, and they were games we would have won too. Like we were fighting hard. Like
First game, Wilson joined. I ended up Wi-Fi thing happened, so I got kicked out. And then the game right before we joined, like Wilson was asking, he's like, "Man, you think we have time for another one?" So I was looking at the time, like, "Yeah, let's do one more. Let's do one more." And of course, I got weaseled. So it wasn't even my internet thing.
Is
I
that
got
what they
just
call it?
it was straight weaseling.
weaseling.
But comp
I
has
got weasel
been-
last Thursday. It was fantastic.
Yeah, right. And
It's intense.
No
Comps-
lube.
comp's kind of funny right now. There's a lot of not forgottens floating around. There's a lot of not
Yeah.
forgottens and a lot of bought forgottens floating around.
Mhm.
And
Bought?
bought
Oh,
forgottens. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah, I know
you
what you
paid for
mean.
your not forgotten. You bought it, but
Oh.
the good teams, like the really good, like it's really freaking hard to compete with that gun with Luna's Howl. I had to switch to Ace of Spades and like pull back on range a little bit. Use a hand cannon that had a little bit more range. And that worked okay to a certain extent, but like if you're using Luna's Howl and you're going up against a not forgotten, you have to close the gap. But in order to close the gap, if you get teamed by even two not forgottens, like you're toast, dude. Like you're going
Yeah.
down super fast. So it's super interesting. I've been seeing a lot of mixed things about it, mostly negative, and while I can kind of sympathize with like the negative side of it, I am having a good time. I'm playing with my buddy Will, who I haven't played with in a long time, playing with Mana, played with Lego, played with Gunga. You know, she's a gag to play with. She's funny. Met some new people, you know, like
Was
Merc
gag the right
and,
adjective there?
Big Red. I mean, all kinds of new people and making some connections. So, like, in my opinion, that like significantly outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
So right now, I just got to get to 2100. I think I'm at like 1650 or something, somewhere around
Pretty
there right
close.
now. And I've already got like the 100% wins done, so I just got to hit that rank, and the SMG will be mine. Yeah, DDoSing is like super rampant right now. It gets kind of grody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. I did some Gambit Prime, like it a hell of a lot better than Gambit. It's way better than regular Gambit. I went in with Marcus and Spiffy and you, Lego, and
Yeah.
I never really had any Blueberry experiences. We went and did Reckoning and lots of Gambit Prime, and we were just destroying shit. I mean, one time we went
Yeah.
into Reckoning, and I think within 20 seconds we spawned the boss. Like it was insane. Like, you remember that one, Lego? Like,
Yes.
you're like, the boss is here already, and we're all like, what? And, like, it's just like 20 seconds in, we were just murdering everything. I really like Reckoning a lot. I can't wait for the higher tiers.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what everybody thinks about Reckoning once we like really get into it, because I have like mixed feelings on it, because I think I thought it was gonna be one thing and it's kind of more something else. But Mana, Wilson mentioned you playing some comp this week as well. What is that? Is that the main thing you've been into, or have you been playing some of the Gambit stuff?
I honestly completely forgot all the Gambit stuff, and I've been playing this $20 Steam game for the past couple days called Dawn of Man. It's a little city builder that just came out, and I don't know why. I'm a sucker for a city builder, like, you know, civilization type things. And it's just a simple. You're a caveman. You start in the Stone Age, and you have to build a civilization. And just last night, I stayed up until midnight, messed up, and I wasn't paying attention because Gunga. I was in a party chat with Gunga, and she was also playing My Time at Portia. So we just weren't paying attention at all to each other, really. And
That's how it should be.
I messed up my civilization because I adopted too many animals, and they were eating all my hay, which is really like it's a big thing to crafting like everything, you know, like houses and everything, you know. And so I'm here. I had to look up strategy, guys, because I couldn't figure out where my hay was going. I'm like, it might be the 100 animals. You know, I have more animals than humans at this point. Maybe that's the reason why.
So here's something really cool. I read an article today. So scientists found, or whoever, someone found,
Smart people.
yeah, some smart people found
Animals eating
crude ancient sex toys that
Crew.
actually prove that the sex toy was invented by humans thousands of years before the wheel.
100%
I mean, it's
priorities.
born out of necessity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
sense.
Priorities. You got
Yeah.
your
Was
wheels.
it humans or aliens?
I mean, the long story about Viagra is they were searching for a cure for, or they were searching for Viagra, and they came up across cures for all kinds of diseases, but they said, screw it, it's not going to make penises hard, so toss it on the shelf for now.
That's true. It's priorities, man. Like history had
And then
their
they came up with
priorities.
Viagra.
What are they made out of? I'm just curious.
I don't know. Probably rocks.
At first, I
this-
was gonna be like,
And
"Wow,
mud.
Oh, God.
Really
really-
smooth rocks.
yeah,
Really
that really
smooth
came out of
rocks.
nowhere." But then I realized that I don't know. I was like trying to make some connection between being an animal and I don't know. That's
He
what
said-
that's the topic we were on.
He said a caveman and building a city, and the caveman
okay.
built dildos.
I see the.
By the way,
ish.
One of the monoliths you can build, like out of like
Speaking
these
of
special
monolith-
stones,
No.
yeah, they look
Is
like
it?
really big, rocky,
Phalluses.
Oh God.
Dicks. Just say dicks.
erect phalluses.
What's this game
Erect.
called?
And
It
you
would
braid
be
them.
impressive if it was
Donna Man.
flaccid.
Dawn,
I mean, that would
dawn
be very
of penis.
sad.
Dong of man.
Got it. Triton. What have you been up to this week, man?
Well, I mean, gaming wise, I've been doing pretty much just a ton of Anthem. I think I'm the only one, probably of the six of us, that have done that. So since
I'm
launch,
afraid to
it's
play it.
pretty much the only thing that I've played. I mean, I think my thing with Destiny right now is one, and Hove mentions this a lot, is when you make a game for everybody, you end up making it for nobody, which is a good point. But I mean, I think that this centers around Gambit, and I'm not someone who wants to play a lot of Gambit, and the hours in which I'm available to play tend to be largely during the day Eastern time, when either most people are at work. So I don't want to play a lot of Gambit by myself, as I don't really enjoy it. And I probably should just give the changes a try, but have really been trying to get the Platinum and Anthem as quick as I can to move on. However, hit a massive trophy glitch that they seem to have no interest in fixing based on the stream yesterday, because they have issues that are far greater than that. So, which I understand, fixing people's PlayStations from not powering off is
Yeah.
probably a priority, or allowing
Big deal.
quick play to actually work, or allow people to actually finish missions.
Or for just
But
the
for
game
those
to
of you,
work,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
who may play Anthem, it's a little disheartening that they move so quickly to trying to improve some UI things, as well as some like cosmetic things, of sort, just things that aren't impacting progression, and they skipped probably about 5 bugs that literally aren't allowing people to play the game. So that kind of is soul crushing, and then I don't think I'll ever get that trophy now at this rate, which is sucky, because the only games that I've had an issue like that have been EA games. So Battlefront 2, when you reach the max level, didn't trigger because somebody just like couldn't figure out that they needed to count level 0 to 1 as an actual level increment. So when you reach level 50, it only counted you at 49 until a patch came probably 6 months after the game released. So
Dang, yeah.
very hopeful that they do eventually patch it.
That's
that
kind of
seems
like
because
why I'm afraid to play Anthem right now.
I would be afraid.
A console bug actually bricks consoles on PS4
Well,
at the moment.
Here's the thing they came out with. They said, like, look, this doesn't actually prevent your PlayStation coming back on. It shuts down your PlayStation and it boots up in that mode like, hey, don't yank out the power cord, which isn't good either. But the devs kind of brushed that under the rug like, hey, not actually killing your PlayStation, but it's kind of like, well, I don't want it to turn off either, and they just kind of skirted that.
So it doesn't actually brick, because everyone, like, I went through the Reddit thing and people are saying like legitimately PS4s are being bricked. It's only PS4s right now.
No, there's a method to actually recover the hard drive for it. So
they said that in all instances that they've looked into, so I don't know what that means, but they said in all that they've looked into that the PlayStation actually isn't completely just like in brick. It will come back on, but it comes back on in that status like if you yanked out the power cord or something like that, which again isn't great for it. So
yeah,
but they kind of skirted that issue. And it's really unfortunate because I think the people that are playing it, the people within our clan, I know like River and Loki, Monk and myself have talked a fair amount of it about it. Like the world is fantastic, like flying around, the combat, all of that feels great. I mean, and I don't think that, talking about and being on a Destiny podcast, like the gameplay being the primary thing that goes well, is a, departure from things that we've mentioned in the past. But like with the load screens and the fact that you can't complete missions, it never really achieves that level of like escapism that Destiny did early on for some things. And I think that that's without that, and with a very, very shallow end game, which is also bugged to death, it stinks. Like I think I've gotten to the point where I'm running on like second hardest difficulty to get certain items, and it'll be like, oh, destroy these 6 things and only 5 will spawn, and you're like 40 minutes into the mission, and so you're just done.
Grandmaster 2.
You're just like, well, I'm done now. Like there's not a 6th thing to destroy, so you have to stop. And the multiplayer aspect's not nearly as good as Destiny. It's more like a non-intrusive multiplayer game where like you could no one ever talks. You don't really need to play with people. I mean, it's very different. I'd certainly say disappointing, but I've not gone around to Destiny despite that, just because I just really wanted to get those trophies until now, and I hate it.
That's like the completionist in you, though, right? Like that's the reason. Yeah.
I mean, I literally did 300 collectibles in that game when the collectibles were bugged. So like you'd pick one up and it wouldn't give you credit. I was like, okay, so you'd fly around for 10 minutes, come back, like get other ones, come back and do it. It got to a point where it only registered 299. I had to create another pilot, like the equivalent of creating another character in Destiny, literally play the first mission again, then until I had access to the free roam, then go and get it. And it did register.
Following your Twitter journey of like you playing this game makes me hate the game like through you. Like I know there's 2 things about that game. Like, 'cause as someone who hasn't played it, I'm not gonna say good or bad, like about the gameplay itself. But I will say that through Triton, it looks extremely frustrating, and other people have been very frustrated too. But particularly you, Triton, I feel bad because you're just trying to get these accomplishments done, and then but also I see some gameplay like you pointed this out on your own Twitter. It was like a intro or something, and you were like, this is the one thing they really nailed.
I mean, some of it is just awesome, but I mean, in like those intros where like you're in your suit, it feels like Iron Man 1 first gets in the suit, even just the silver version. So I think for all of us that enjoy the Marvels, it feels, there's so many moments like that, but then it's like, oh, well, you hit a loading screen behind that, or it's completely bugged, or I mean, the things they prioritize again, and the thing was like, oh, we'll fix the level 1 auto or marksman rifle or something, auto rifle, so it doesn't do that much damage. It's like, well, why is that a problem that you messed that up? Like, I can't get past this level because you don't spawn enough things. Like, I'm sorry that the white weapon, the common weapon's doing too much damage. Like, why is that the third thing we're talking about after destroying people's PlayStations and not allowing people to actually quick play other people, essentially impeding people's progress? So
and also, it's like apparently terrible. A thing with Titanfall and a couple other EAs is like, if 2 people, like say roommates or some people living together, or playing, it's the whole network thing. Like after a while, for some reason, it becomes wonky and they won't be able to connect to each other. So because
that's
I was trying to.
Well,
I was playing with Gunga. We actually both bought it to play with Shiny Sir and his wife, which awesome name, by the way. She named herself Shiny Her. So we got Shiny Sir and Shiny Her. It's adorable.
Awesome.
I thought it was adorable.
That is adorable.
Yeah, they couldn't connect to each other after a couple hours of playing, and we were wondering what is going on. We thought maybe Anthem was going down, so I tweeted it or something, and people were saying, like, if you're on the same network, like, it's been a problem in the past with just EA servers.
Well, didn't you used to have that problem, Wilson, with Sam for a while with Destiny?
Yeah, every now and then, and I'd just restart my PlayStation. One of us would just have to restart our PlayStation. Only in Destiny 1, never once in Destiny 2. Only in Destiny 1, though. I'm glad you brought that up, actually. Yeah, just one of us would have to reboot our PlayStation, and then it would be fine for, a week till next trial session or whatever, and we'd all group up, and It's really weird, man. It sucks that game's
Mhm.
having so many issues. It's like 6 years in the making.
Yeah, it
past
definitely
month,
needed
it's just
some
Crash
time
and
to
burn.
cook more.
Yeah, just crash
Yeah.
and burn in like a month. Like at least like as far as like publicity goes. Like I know they still have a very dedicated fan base and stuff like that. But holy shit, what a shit!
This
show.
is the exact reason why I don't play betas.
I did, and it didn't save any of my progress. Every time I tried to log back in, I had to do the first mission, and I was like, nope, not pre-ordering this game. Like I'm done with it, man. Especially games as a service, I'm done.
I straight up wait for everyone else to start the game and go through all the stuff and see how the bugs are and see what's going on, and then go, if everyone's playing it, I'll join, but if not, I don't want to waste my money. But betas, I don't do it because it's always the same thing. I watched videos from Aubergine, from our clan, that, I mean, he's watching guys in Division 2 stuck in walls, and he's killing himself laughing, or he'll bug out completely. And I'm going, you know what? I get a limited amount of time to play video games right now. I don't want to sit there and get frustrated at a beta that was actually nowhere near what the completed work is. But not only that, they were aware of that when they issued the beta. Like they already have the fixes for these things.
Also, betas that were like only like less than a month away from actual release, and at that point, you know, it's not like a beta anymore. At that point, it's a demo. That's close to completion. And if you see a bunch of things, probably like that's probably going to be in the game still.
But the most frustrating thing for me about betas is the fact that they've already fixed a lot of the issues that people are experiencing in betas. So my issue is, why release that version of that game as a tester for people when you've already fixed those bugs? Thank you, dear. You're amazing. I'm in the middle of a rant, but thank you. Why she brought me beer because she loves me.
Nice.
Why issue a version of a game that has already been repaired to the general public as a beta, and then have people complain and bitch and whine about it, and have all these bugs and issues and all these problems with it when it's already been fixed? Like, that is not a first impression. I think if a first impression is putting on a suit and going out on a date, and I want to look good and I want to look clean, you want my money from me, and you're going to show up like a raggedy hobo. No, I'm not going to give you money. That's how I look at it. So I wait for everyone else to go through that crap with me. That's my rant. I'm done. I'm going to. Are you dating a prostitute? As a matter of fact, Hove, I am.
Hove asked everybody that question. Actually, that was the first question you ever asked me.
Wait.
Sam's in chat right now. Just letting you know. Just gonna mute so I can crack my beer.
Hopefully, she's bringing me a beer.
So as far as
I want a beer now.
So as far as betas go, like I get, you know, you want a finished product and everything, but I mean, to be fair, like that has more to do with the the publicity that betas get now. I don't know.
Publicity. That's
but I was looking for like the another form of that. Never mind.
Developer side of it or something.
No. Publish something. However you get to cation at the end of
Publication?
No, that's like a
Publicize?
publicity.
Publicity.
Also, I'm getting.
You just want another law in there.
Publicist?
I'm getting somebody's echo.
Parallelogram.
I'm getting somebody's echo here. But anyway, that has to do, I feel like, more with how public betas have gotten, because like that's just the way betas work. It's going to be a couple month old build. You know, the one they're updating from there is going to be the final build. It's going to be fixed. They're not testing those things. Like, you're right. Like, if they know that's fixed, they're not worried about that. That's not what they were releasing the beta for.
Yeah.
It's for other things. Do you know what I mean? So we don't see those things.
Okay, I accept your argument.
What Matt was going for, though.
Yeah, I accept your argument, but the problem is that you're releasing a beta or a demo of a video game for people to say, "Hey, I want to try this thing out to see if I want to invest my $60 to $100."
See, that's a demo. That's my problem. A beta.
But a beta is the same thing.
No, it's not. A beta should not be the same thing at all.
Yeah.
It has become too much the same thing, but it is not the same.
Too much the same.
Yeah, it's
So
I agree
a
with
beta
that. It's
is,
becoming
I'm
like
already
it.
going to buy the game, but I'm just going to play it because...
No, a beta is not. A beta by definition is not for the fans, the gamers. the people who don't know if they want to buy it. A
Especially
beta
closed
is,
alphas and betas.
yeah, that is specifically
That's different.
for. No, I mean it's still a beta or an alpha. That's the problem. They're calling them the wrong things. Like if it's a demo, that should be a finished working
Close.
game.
Yeah, that should
Listen,
be
back
close.
in my day, a demo came on a disc in a magazine and was like levels 1 through 2,
Right,
or something.
but it was the finished game, just those
Yes.
levels.
Mhm.
A
Correct.
beta should have, like, that's the point. It's supposed to have those problems.
They've somehow
Right.
become synonymous with each other.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's the problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's the main issue. It is interesting to hear about all these games. I hear with the Division in particular that they have fixed a lot of or that's what I've heard anyway, is that they fixed a lot of the things that were in the beta, like problems, and everybody's saying it's going to be a really polished, like, I hear a lot of good things about that game.
I've heard a lot more good coming out of the Division beta
Yeah.
than I did the Anthem
I
beta.
played the Division 2
I
beta.
watched some hilarious thing from that beta.
Yeah,
It
from what
definitely
I
had problems.
played of the beta,
Hysterical things.
I had a great time. It felt like, I mean, the biggest difference that I noticed right away in Division 2 was that stuff wasn't near as tanky and bullet
sounds
spongy.
good.
There's still a bit of a disconnect when, like, I was saying, like, Division 1, when you unload an entire clip into a guy wearing nothing but a starter jacket and he somehow survives, like, it just breaks the fantasy for me, you know what I mean? But, like, it felt pretty damn polished, and I just hope that they don't do one of the biggest mistakes you can make with the game too is a fucking staggered release, dude. Just release the game on the same day for everyone.
Another
Like-
confusing thing about Anthem. Had no idea who was able
Yeah.
to play it or not.
Here's a
Nobody
question.
knew what was going on.
Everyone
Can I-
was confused.
can I play
Here's
the
a
game
question about
today?
betas. Oh, I'm sorry. Finish.
No, I was just gonna say that was the confusing thing about Anthem. Can I
Oh,
play
okay.
today? Can I play tomorrow? Nope, not till next
I had
week.
no
Like,
idea.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, GameStop's telling me it's next week, but everyone's playing this. Why? What is going on? And they didn't even know. Some, like, you have to call another GameStop to get the more knowledgeable guy.
Good old pre-access. But talking about betas, this is just a random question. Have any of you guys played the Battlefield 3 beta back in the day?
I did not.
No, but
Still
the-
to this day, probably one of the worst betas I've ever played, and Battlefield 3 is probably one of the funnest games I've ever played.
right.
It's just like talking about broken betas and all that.
It wasn't
like how-
wasn't 4 the exact opposite. Didn't it have a great beta and then just bombed when it came out? Had a
Dude,
bunch of problems.
when 4 came out, it
4
was
came out.
you couldn't get into any game, and as soon as you got in, it might crash in 5 seconds.
I
You, like,
couldn't
never
beat a
knew.
campaign level because it kept on crashing, and I was
It
so
was
triggered because
crazy.
I normally like to go through single player before I jump into multiplayer, and I just couldn't do it. I'm like, I guess I'll play, but Battlefield 3, it was the outside of the metro map, like where you start outside and then you push into the actual like subway, and you could crawl underneath the map and just kill people. It was super glitchy, so you'd be like running around, there's this one crater where if you crawl down into the crater, you just kept on crawling underneath the map. So everyone's fighting for this one crater. No one was doing anything else other than fighting for the crater. And I was just like, this is crazy bad. Still to this day, probably one of the worst betas I've ever played. It was fun because you can break the game, but
Well, having talked about all the new, or at least Triton's experience in Anthem recently, we have a different new release that we're all supposed to be talking about, which is Season of the Drifter here. We got a little bit of Mav's thoughts earlier. I wanted to kind of break down some of that stuff because we don't really have a TWAB necessarily today. Like, there is one, but it doesn't really have any new, unless y'all saw something I didn't see. I didn't think there was a lot of new stuff in there. So I think mainly tonight's just going to be going through our experiences with whether it's in comp, if the meta's changed at all, or whether it's the new Gambit Prime or the Reckoning. The Reckoning is probably the one thing we haven't talked about like at all yet. So did any of y'all have any thoughts on that? I'd love to hear if y'all played. I know Hove Wilson jumped into it. Mav,
In the what?
I'm assuming you did as well.
Into
What did y'all think?
In the what?
Reckoning.
No, I haven't done Reckoning yet.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought you.
So you haven't got any armor pieces yet at all?
No, I have not done Reckoning yet. I've done plenty. I just keep playing Gambit Prime.
Have
So
you?
that was
have,
me. That was me judging you.
Mav, have you or Wilson gotten a full set of gear?
So I have a partial set of Reaper and a partial set of with Sentry.
Sentry.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just need one piece for Sentry.
So I got my first exotic weapon.
Oh, you
From-
did.
From Forsaken?
from Forsaken, like the
What?
RNG.
He did.
I got my first
What?
exotic RNG weapon drop, and it was Queensbreaker, and I just found out. It
You
got
son of a.
It's the
That's
one
the
gun
one
I
I
don't
need.
have.
Yeah, it's the one I need.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten anything. I don't even have armor pieces from this
That's
DLC.
so funny. Of course, you'd get it after it got nerfed too.
Yeah,
I've gotten 5 exotics to drop since Tuesday.
Wow.
Nice.
4 have been all repeats.
That sucks.
2 pairs of stompies and a bunch of other bullshit that nobody cares about for my hunter and my
Everybody's
main
getting
class.
exotics.
Switch over to my Titan, kill a fucking random dreg, and he pops an exotic engram, and it's the new gloves for the Titan
Oh,
that
nice.
when you block with a sword,
Yeah.
it doesn't deflect, it doesn't take any ammunition from you when you block the incoming projectile. And if you were hurt before you block, that damage that gets deflected off or gets blocked by your sword heals you.
That's cool.
So, and it doesn't take away sword ammo. So
I
if you
got
have, like,
the same thing, and it was
Black
a
Talon?
random drop from
Yeah.
something silly.
I was pissed, dude. I still need shards. Like, I would have taken the liar's handshake. I want a one-punch shit. I want to be
Yeah.
one-punch man.
I want anything.
Yeah,
Dude, you need to
man,
try
I
those
want
arms.
anything.
You need to try those arms because they are ridiculously good.
I played my Titan for the first time tonight with Mana, and I was actually kind of having a decent time with it. I had a rough time with my hunter today with my buddy Will. Sorry, Will. But hopped on my Titan. I was like, dude, I could just like ape better. Like shoulder charge is a nice thing when you're on the giving end of it, not the receiving end. Like it's still bullshit to me. But anyway, like I had a lot more fun just aping. Like I've been trying to do the shotgun thing. Had a few rounds with snipers. Like it's cool. It's really refreshing when you don't look at the other team and it's all fully masterwork, Dusk Rock Blues, Not Forgotten, Wardcliff Coil with Catalyst. It's really cool when you see like we loaded up against a team that had like 3 snipers on it, and it was super refreshing, like super nice. But Not Forgotten is a terror right now in early competitive, and I knew it was going to happen this time around after last season. It is a weird place right now, man.
Dude, Wilson, you need to just crutch on special ammo, man. Like
I tried, dude. I even tried going to fusions, dude. Like I just like
Fusion's
I feel
good
like
time.
now
I ran
more
earlier about it.
even though I'm having like a great time and like I am having some successful matches, I'm finding that now more than ever, it's my famous quote, the game is full of shit that other people can do that I can't with weapons. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'll have a good air until with a good roll on it, man, and shoot a guy, from 20 feet away, and he'll jump through the air and back up to 40 feet and just map me with the same, type of air intel. Like same thing, like people's last words, map me. Like mine can barely shoot, past 10 feet without having drop off. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a connection thing. Like, but man, it seems like now more than ever, dude, there's some fuckery afoot.
So going back just a little bit, I do want to point out Bagu mentioned in chat that starting this week, Zur
right.
will be selling for not every time it has the chance to be selling Forsaken exotics. So
I might have to be checking those because
Yeah. I think we all
my
do.
arsenal is lacking bad.
Yeah, I'm still missing shards from last season, and then I got like 4 repeats but they were all vanilla ones too. That was the
Yeah, it stinks.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That
what
does
it is
stink.
though.
I wanted to touch on a few things you just said, Wilson. One, to me, fusion rifles feel so good right now. Like I jumped into comp, and having been used to playing with them, I even said for a second, I was like, did they get some kind of like stealth like buff? Because it felt so. I was hitting immediately. My very first shot, actually, I posted on Twitter. My very first shot was like through the sniper lane of Emperor's Respite, where people normally snipe through that middle lane, whether you go outside or inside.
Over
And
the
I
gap.
just jumped over there, charged it up straight through, and I was like, "What? Okay, I got that shot off, 1-hit kill, And it just like and then from then on, like the rest of the games we were playing, it was really just felt solid. But I also and so I don't know what it could be for you, but also on the other side of that, the sword blocking exotic that you got, did you try it out? Did you like it at all?
No,
I heard
because I don't have Black Talon, and I absolutely despise swords right now.
So-
they're a shadow
Blasphemy.
of their former D1 selves. They're a poor mimic of D1
Well,
swords for PvP.
That's kind of.
They
I think
suck
Mav
in
disagrees.
PvP. There's no
Blasphemy!
no lunge, no damage against people in their supers. Like, it's bad.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as you, Wilson. Like, I love Black Talon, and I do have that,
That's
and
a
so
good
I'll
one.
use that.
I actually do
But
have that one.
That's a good one.
The thing with it is that though that exotic with it, it still decreases your sword ammo. You don't just keep it, and so it significantly degrades your ammo with the Black Talon. And so it's like, what is the point at that? You know, once it gets to that point, it's like, why would you ever run that? And not only that, but the blocking mechanic for it healing you. I got all this from Astacross has a really good video on YouTube about it right now. And it's like, unless you block right before somebody hits you, it won't heal you. You have to do it right before they hit you. It's like a timed thing. Like
That's cool. It's like a parry. It's like a parry system. Like when somebody swings a sword at you, if you block at the right time, you stagger them, and it's a risk reward thing. You know what I mean?
The problem is that you can't hold, like, you still lose ammo pretty much no matter what too, and just swords are already not great. So just the balance of all that together makes it not really worth it as much.
Even though you block, it still depletes your ammo, even though it's not supposed to. So it's bugged, or is there some hidden mechanic?
It depletes it like less. Like, it's just not as fast.
Oh, so it's just not as like good. It's not a good description. And it just,
yes, it's not a good description.
Okay. I know they can only fit so much space in those areas, and they said like language localization, like to take something from like English to German, like the box would be like enormous with text, like.
Right.
It's like I get why they gotta like do that sometimes with weapon descriptions.
So Mav, you dig swords?
The second I got those so my mentality for video games, I get, for example, Destiny, I get an exotic. It tells me that it does a specific thing. I'm gonna go try that specific thing and see if I like it. And I always end up going back to an armamentarian anyways. But that I tried it out, and you know what? I didn't have an issue with deflecting and healing. Like it seemed to work almost instantaneously, but I may have been blocking while they were shooting, so I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good, and I have a Black Talon, so yeah, I go into Reckoning and I pull up Black Talon, I fire a couple shots, and then pull up my my shield and block and heal up again and keep going. And then with Warlock assisting with one of their rifts, I can have unlimited ammo and just keep going. Right, so it's helpful to everyone. But yeah, those arms work in specific scenarios, but it doesn't work in all cases.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could see it being really helpful in Reckoning, the way you have to keep moving, or the way you might be low on health, and if you just need health back real quick, I could see that being really useful. Yeah. Speaking of Reckoning, what we talked about it for a second. I guess Wilson, me, and Mav are like the main people who've tried it out. I kind of mentioned on a previous podcast I was excited for, because I thought it was going to be more like the Haunted Forest, where you're like running through an area more so, like pushing through ads and they're coming from everywhere. But it's more like Blind Well, like the way it's just one single area and all these ads coming in. And it's not like, some of them have predefined locations, but it's not as predefined for the smaller ads. So it feels very Blind Well-ish. And I don't know. That's about it. Other than there's not like a location you have to fight from. You can fight from wherever you want. Blind Well, you kind of have to stay in certain spots. This is kind of, you can fight from wherever you want, and it can be actually really difficult solo if your teammates are just like not helping at all, depending on what weapon loadout you're using. But other than that, it pretty much felt like Blind Well to me. And it was fun, like Wilson was saying. Like, I felt like it was fun. I think my main concern was like longevity whenever I was playing it. But we are getting tier 2 and tier 3 out, which I think will be new areas to it.
Yeah, I believe so.
I hope you progress. Like, if you're gonna go, like, they unlock tier 2, so you got to knock out a tier 1, and then like a door opens up or something. Because like I saw like an area in the preview, there was like a thin straight path, and it almost kind of looked like a very clean area of like the beginning of the Crota raid, where you had to like run through and there's like a bunch of darkness around you and stuff. So like it'd be cool if you like progress. Like you got to knock out a tier 1 to open up the tier 2 area. Like that's probably a little bit too much wishful thinking. You'll probably just load in to the tier 2 area.
I kind of want to do a Crota raid right now.
Dude, it's fun, man. That area is so cool with the Thrallway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's good times.
It's probably my favorite opening. Sorry.
I know, man. A lot of people like that. I know.
I
it's
mean,
like
your
half and
favorite
half.
opening?
Mm-hmm.
Like of all openings ever?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that raid got a bad rap,
Except for
dude,
this new
because
strip
that
club
was
down
one of
the
my
street.
favorites too.
Priorities, Hope. Priorities.
Yo, I thought the raid was cool, honestly. Except for maybe the end where it's like, you guys have Galahorn ammo?
Hope y'all got a synth, man.
the long
I actually said that
route
to
of
the other day.
heavy.
I think I'm just gonna say this quickly because I know I'm trying to be a good, not off topic person. But once we became like higher light level, I think the Crota raid became even cooler because it got away from do you have Galahorn and who can run sword to like there were way more ways to like solo it and do it with 2 people using these guns, and there was just so many different ways. I don't know. It just seemed really cool to me. That's all. I'm done.
No, I agree. I agree though. Like when you become more OP, it's just like you don't have to rely on just one weapon, and hopefully whoever you're playing with has that weapon too, to help out. So,
But that beginning, man, standing on that plate, waiting for the bridge to form, then you run across, you fall forever, then you're looking around, you're like, what the fuck's going on? Nothing's attacking me, and then you take a step out, there's a million throws. So good.
I like being a warlock when you fell down, like trying to be the first person. So if you floof, people hit you and fling off to the side, and then they drop down into darkness, and then just get surrounded by thrall. It was hilarious. I used to troll my
Great
squad so
times.
hard.
Did you guys get Flawless Raider on that raid?
That's
Did
what
you guys
happened.
go for that?
Oh, yeah.
That's where I got.
yeah.
I mean, like now thinking about like all the tactics you had to use to get Flawless Raider.
Yeah.
Like one person go down, so you
think I
didn't have
did.
a random death.
Yup.
You know, it
You
was
had
the
to run- you had to do the run.
the easiest way to
Yep.
get Flawless Raider was to like 2 or 3 minute. Once you went,
Yeah,
you had a little
we did
higher.
it. Was,
we did the
Hope.
full 6, I think.
I did the full 6, yeah.
Yeah.
I did it with like 3 or 4 on Crota, and then my buddy Great American Hero couldn't make it, and he was the one who was actually pushing to do it, and we all ended up doing it without him. And the next day he was super salty, and it was his birthday the next day, so we all went in and did it again.
Oh, okay, you did.
We went in
That's
and did it
good.
again
What a
the
good
second
friend.
day.
I think
with-
I actually got it done with Hovey. Like one of the few times I
Really?
raided with Hovey. Yeah, this was early when we were playing with him too.
Do you remember that time we did the raid?
That one time, the what's Fire of whatever.
Oh no, I was talking about Crota, and we never actually did. I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the
I
last
know.
time we tried raiding. And we
No,
never went
spot.
back.
Oh yeah, no, I do remember that.
Actually, we did. Actually,
Were you part of Resolute when Crota was launched, Hove?
When it was launched, no.
No, yeah, no, you weren't.
no,
I don't know
no.
if I
It was
was.
really cool. Me and Hove were talking about.
No, you were, Mana,
I
because
wasn't.
I was, and you were in before me.
Oh, okay.
Me and
What
Hove were
Maverick
talking about
got
like
that.
Age of Triumph, and how it's going to be kind of hard for D2 to capture something similar to that at the end of D2.
We did.
'Cause,
We
like,
talked about that.
Was that me and you?
Yeah,
I thought-
it
I
sounds
thought it was-
really smart. So definitely.
I thought it was me. I thought it was me and you, because like you look at D1 and they left a lot of exotics behind so that they could like have focus on like new weapons and things, like not have to worry about power creep and making the next best thing, just leave shit behind for the season. And Age of Triumph came out and it was awesome because they staggered out all these raids and you were going in getting all these awesome weapons that were exotics with primary elemental burns and stuff. I don't think they could do anything like that for D2, like an Age of
They
Triumph
totally could.
thing. What's it?
We're only what, halfway through D2?
Who
I
knows?
mean,
If you're
maybe-
looking at content and what was given out in D1 versus what could be given out for D2,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'd say we're only halfway through it.
No, I'm not saying we're on the verge of Age of Triumph. I'm just saying, what could they do to capture something like that at the end of D2 when we get to
The exact same thing that they did for D1.
it? Like what? Bring back the raids that you can
Bring
already
back
go
the
do?
raids. Yeah, they'll re-release the raids when nostalgia becomes something that's pertinent for us.
But like, what would be the enticement to that? Because you could go do those raids now, get those weapons, and infuse it.
So then I ask you, what was the enticement of doing it before?
Because
couldn't
they
use
brought back
those
year 1
weapons,
weapons
yeah.
that weren't at light level as exotic with primary elemental burns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal to have those guns come back.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And
It is
they-
interesting thinking about that though, because it's like that is something that they implemented in D2 to be better, is to take all the weapons that you used to have, but really like it makes it to where you can't really reuse any of that stuff unless you completely redo it. You can't just bring back old stuff and have it be the same. It has to be new and different.
I
Absolutely.
mean, what if they did something where they combined the raids?
I don't know. I don't know what they do. Like, I really don't.
Some weird kind of callous thing where he drops you into different raid locations in different parts of the game and then teleports you out to another one. I don't know.
Because
They'll come up with something.
I imagine we're gonna have Season of Opulence, and then I imagine there's probably gonna be a break for content between Season of Opulence and the next content drop.
I'm sorry.
And-
Does anyone else hear Season of Opulence and automatically think it feels like something you should be prescribed for?
Yeah, it is a weird word. I actually had to Google the definition.
got the opulence.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's an age thing.
My
prostate.
quickly, I'm gonna Lego put in chat that he wants to see me get us back on topic, and I don't remember what the topic was.
We are talking about Destiny.
Can
I think it was Reckoning. Your experience in the Reckoning was.
Well, can
Yes.
can I get us half back on topic?
Okay. I
That's
want to
fair.
see. I want to see where you take.
I
it
just
to.
wanted to, because I got passed over. I wasn't allowed to talk about Gambit Prime. I actually played a
Wait.
lot. You were like, "Well, we talked about Gambit Prime. Now I want to hear
No.
about the Reckoning."
We already talked about
No,
it.
I
Yeah, that's what I'm
specifically asked, "Hey, Ho, what have you been up to?" And you said something about Wednesday night again, and something
That's
about
not how that
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
But no,
I actually can't
I
remember.
for someone who, I had really nothing good to say about Gambit at all. I haven't played it in months, but I really am enjoying Gambit Prime a lot, actually. I like the whole one round thing. It doesn't feel like it goes on forever.
Mm-hmm.
The roles, even though we haven't really gotten too much into that, because, like I said, I haven't done the Reckoning, so I don't have any sets of armor or anything, but like that is really cool. I like the mechanic with the boss, even though you can still melt him pretty good if you get the right, setup going. It isn't quite as well. You got to the primeval, it's over, you win. I think it's a big step in the right direction as far as Gambit goes, and I actually really like it. That's all.
Yeah,
It's playable.
Oh, did you not like Gambit before, Mav?
I did, but the problem was if you went into Gambit, like I have a problem with people to play with.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Typically, my time zone and the area I'm in, I had the typical guys I game with don't want to play Gambit. So when I go in with solely blueberries, and let me tell you, I'm losing my hairline's receding, and that's from Gambit. So this is much nicer in terms of soloing it or going with blueberries kind of thing. But
Really?
it's much better than typical Gambit. It's still a friggin' nightmare, but it's much better than just going with normal Gambit.
See, I still
What-
haven't even gone in with a full team. It's been me and
Someone
one other
offered that,
person.
but you never showed up. Just saying, cough, cough.
Hey, everyone who asked me last night to play, what time was I in bed? Like 9.
Like, really
yeah.
early. I was-
Online, 7:00, said for you to join. Didn't even respond.
You said
Oh.
You said no, that's a lie. You're a liar. You're all a bunch of liars.
Just grab my phone
Actually,
real quick.
well, jump on tonight, and I should have 2 other guys available. So wouldn't that to you sound like in the future? Well, jump on tonight, and I should have some people.
I have children. My children go to bed at
Mana wants to say something.
between 6:30 and 7, and then after that, bam, we play video games.
Just saying.
I'm wondering what man is about to say.
Go, man,
no,
go.
I'm just chilling.
Wait, none of us were gonna take advantage of the fact that Ho was saying that like he's gonna jump on with a bunch of other guys. No one was gonna.
No, I was
I
reading,
thought
just
Mana was
chilling.
running with that one.
I-
So I
I-
let it go.
I was reading
thinking about
Mav's.
it, but then
That
I
doesn't
didn't.
count. I didn't say that.
No, you did say that.
Okay, so I'm pretty much with Hove on the Gambit.
Lego,
Prime
you want to
stuff.
jump in with some guys?
I want to jump into more games of Gambit Prime because I agree. Like it feels refreshing and fun. Whenever I was really not a fan of, like, I never wanted to play Gambit. Really,
I hated it.
I had no reason or desire to gain, like I went in to get like a trust. That was the one thing maybe I wanted out of
Crust?
that. I didn't no trust the gun,
Oh.
like the
I was legitimately asking. I thought you said you went in to get some crust, and I was
no,
like,
no. Some bread, you know. No. So actually kind of works. So Gambit Prime, like I said, with the putting down the blockers is a great change, but also what Hove was saying with playing the different roles that you have, and even though we see a minimal version of that, even before we have the roles assigned to us with the gear, you still kind of get an idea for what it's going to be, knowing that it's there, and those concepts are in place. And then later playing tonight, actually with Marcus and Spiffy, they both had like a gear set enough to actually make a difference, which if you're listening to this and you haven't played Gambit Prime yet, or you're not really sure, because Bungie released the perk set, like what they all do, but it's kind of confusing when you're in game, like how many armor pieces do I need to make what perk activate? And the way you see it, which I feel like they could have made this more clear, because I didn't understand until Marcus or Spiffy told me, but you equip a piece of the armor that you got from the Reckoning, and a new little icon will show up where it normally shows like your resilience number and all that. A new number shows up that says +1, and you hover over and it says if you get to +3, you get this perk. If you get to +5, you get this perk, or it's 6, I think, you get to the next one, and so on and so on. And so the more armor you have in the higher tier Gambit Prime level it is, or Sentry, you know, Invader, whatever you are, that's the number of perk stuff you'll have with that armor. So that's how you see it in game. And to me, it was confusing. Mav, Wilson, I don't know how y'all felt like looking at the armor, but it was kind of confusing until I had somebody explain it to me and I looked in the menu and it's like, oh, here it is. Okay, I get it now. There's no like text that tells you put the armor on first and then you can see what perks you get and stuff like that.
Right.
But I get it now, and seeing it and playing around with it and having somebody who makes those changes according to whatever their role is, I feel like it all worked out really well and made the game type like even more fun, having that mini game of your role going on during Gambit Prime.
It is cool to have a role in a game mode. I kind of feel like that's what they were rolling with, like the whole gear set. Like, look, this was the way that we kind of figured that y'all would play
Yeah.
Gambit. Like, you guys would take on like a certain assigned role or something, or a job, and stick to it. I just need to finish up. I just need to get the helmet, the Reaper helmet, and I'll have a full Reaper set. And then I got pretty lucky actually. I'm only missing the helmet for Reaper and Collector on my Hunter, because Lego, me, you, and Marcus and Spiffy, we cranked out a bunch of those, put a lot of those motes
We really did.
into those things. The synthesizer was a little confusing for me. Mine kind of bugged out on me.
Oh, really?
At first, like I was doing it, I did it the improper way. At first, I like actually clicked on one of the little synths and like as a consumable.
Oh,
And
no.
then after I tried to load them up through that bugged something out through the actual way that I was supposed to do it.
Weird.
So I had a Sentry synth like ready to go, like a Sentry mote, and it still gave me Collector gear. Like, it was really weird. Like, it was bugged out for me at first.
weird.
Yeah, because I screwed it up. But once I got through one session and then did it correctly, everything was fine after that. So it was
Nice.
weird. Definitely
Yeah.
something bugged out on me, but it was fine like the very next run. So it was no big deal.
Yeah, so Mana Triton, the way that this works is it's like during the dawning, how you would like bake the stuff to get it
The
whatever cookies, yeah. So the way that you do that, you had like a little oven. Basically, you have like a oven from the Drifter that that you put if you got an Invader coin thing, you put that in the synthesizer and it makes a mote that is like an Invader mote or a Sentry mote. And when you go into Reckoning, you put that in right before you jump into this portal. And that repeats several times. Like, basically, it's like the Blind Well, how somebody puts in a thing and then it starts. So you all put in your stuff and then you can jump into this portal and the activity begins. You can even start it late. Like, you could just be standing there, everybody else jumps in and you're like, oh, I don't have my stuff yet. You transfer it over and then you put in the mode and you jump in the activity with them. So, and you can keep doing it. It's like me and Wilson, like he was saying, we were in there for, I don't know how many rounds we did in a row, but we just played a bunch of Gambit Prime and then went into Reckoning and just played a ton of that. And for me, the part, like I thought I would like the Reckoning more, and really I just wanted to play more Gambit Prime, I think.
That's the typical consensus that I've seen so far. No one wants to
Really?
play the Reckoning for too long.
Hmm.
Did you guys notice if you lose a match of Reckoning and you go back out, you can actually recover your moat from that
Yes.
that bank?
No, I didn't.
A lot of guys didn't actually know that. So the people that I was
no.
gaming with, they're like, "Oh no, I've just lost it, and I've lost my thing, and I've got to go back to Gambit Prime and get another one to come back out to Reckoning and remake another moat." But yeah, you can re-recover it.
That's
And
cool.
part of one of the glitches that I've seen is the people that don't re-recover it and put in a new moat into the bank at the starting of Gambit Prime end up actually getting double rewards because they can't understand why they're happening. Well, they've actually dropped 2 items into it, which I'm sure won't last very long, or maybe it's a glitch that occurs. But yeah, you can't recover it. So if you lose a match of Reckoning, recommendation: go back to that bank, pull your moat out, wait for the next round to go up, and then re-put that moat back in. And don't
And that
lose
drives
your,
the kind of
your
gear you
items.
get, right? So whatever moat you put in, that's the kind of gear that
Yeah.
you acquire.
Yes, there'll be a Reaper, Invader, or Sentry.
Which, while it's random for the type of gear you get, like whether you get a helmet, like you can't
Right.
get a helmet unless you do special. So that one's kind of nice because you guarantee, I think, get a helmet. I haven't done it yet, so I'm not sure. But the arms, chest, legs, and the cape for my Titan or Hunter, those all drop randomly, but it will be for sure if you're put in a sentry thing, it does a sentry.
Does
if you
give you
put
that.
an
Okay.
invader. So that's really nice. And when you play Gambit Prime, they have bounties for those specific types. So you can say, like, pick up your invader bounty and go for that specific goal. So you get the invader coin to make into a moat. But really, you get one every time you play Gambit Prime. You will get a coin of some sort.
You'll get a random one at the end, and then if you do invader type shit, you'll most likely get a random invader
Really?
coin
Okay.
to pop.
Yeah, if
so,
you pick up more moats, you'll get a collector.
Yeah, totally. Like if you're
Nice.
slaying
Okay.
enemies, the game will recognize that that's what you're doing and rewarding. If you're slaying people on the other team, the game will see that. And if you're slaying your invader, the people who invade your area, it'll recognize that. I had a dude try to drop a Slova bomb on me, and I popped it with a heavy machine gun right in his face, and it blew up, and it killed him, and the game just awarded me one of those tokens like right away, like for being
Okay.
sentry. It's like, you did a sentry thing, here's a
Oh,
piece
nice.
of sentry gear.
And you got
Like,
that
I
at the
thought that-
time
I
that
thought
you
that
did
was
that,
cool.
Wilson?
Yeah, it pops up in game, like as
Oh,
soon as
okay.
you do whatever. Sometimes, right? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
it's
referring
pretty
to?
noticeable.
Yeah,
It's
I've never had
noticeable.
that happen.
Oh,
but
really?
It's
I've never had
noticeable.
that happen, but that sounds
Really?
like a really weird scenario where he did something that was extraordinary and got a reward for it, kind of thing. Maybe
Which
it
is
was a
pretty
triumph
awesome.
that launched. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm remembering other random Destiny stuff right now, but this makes sense why I have a ton of Reaper stuff and no collector stuff, because I think I just kill everything, but I never pick up the moats. So
I've never seen you with moats because you're usually doing slaying or sentry type stuff. When the invader's
Yeah.
here, where's he at? I'm gonna
exactly
do something about it, and that's where I'm collecting moats and slaying. And then that was just the one time that I did something really cool when someone invaded, and I was like, "Oh shit! I just got rewarded for that. That was really cool."
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool twist.
So what do y'all like the cycle of going Gambit Prime to the other activity to Reckoning, or because that's my one nitpick right now is I'm not sure, which I guess I shouldn't do yet, because my problem is with Reckoning and we're getting new versions, so I can't really say anything yet. And literally tomorrow is tomorrow the new Gambit match or the new Reckoning? I can't remember. Do y'all
Oh,
know
I
off
didn't
the
know
top?
that there was.
Yeah, stuff's
I thought it was
releasing
next week.
No, stuff's releasing fast.
Oh,
So yeah, we get it's all on the roadmap. But like Thursday and Tuesdays we'll like get new stuff every time,
That's cool. I'm down.
which is pretty. Yeah, it's
I
pretty.
will
fast.
say, actually, I'll ask you guys first. Has anyone gotten any new Gambit Prime weapons to drop?
No, but I heard that you got the sniper. Is that what I heard?
I did get the sniper. I got a really good roll on it. I got like snapshot, slide shot, like armor piercing rounds. Like, armor piercing, whatever. But you could body two people at once. That's cool if they're lined up. But I've heard a lot of people saying that they're just not getting very many weapons at all.
I haven't. No, I've gotten 0, and I did a lot. I played a lot that
Yeah.
night with you. You know?
You played a lot tonight too.
Yeah, tonight too. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I need to grind some.
I see. The thing is, right now, is that from what I'm seeing on Twitter, is everyone's like, "This is cool. I like the flow of Gambit Prime to Reckoning." But none of this really matters right now until we can get to tier 3.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just
that's my
waiting on
concern.
tier 3. They're gonna get their armor and they're gonna split and they're gonna get the desired armor pieces that they want that suits their role. And then they're just gonna play Gambit Prime. They're probably never gonna go back to Reckoning because there's nothing else in that loot pool.
Which might be fine with me because I do think the Gambit Prime is the stronger game type right now. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, but it's
and
content that acts as a stepping ladder to Gambit Prime. Like once you get, like if you're not going to invade, you're not going to be a sentry, and all you want to do is slay and collect, and you get your Slayer and Collector set, you're never going back.
Yeah, which I think could be fine. Like that, that's a looter shooter thing. You go do the activity you want to get the thing you want, and then you're kind of done with it after that.
But it's a fun activity, though. That's the thing. Like, like I'm not gonna go back just because it's fun. I want to have fun and be rewarded too. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm kind of feeling entitled here, but like that's just, in my opinion, like the wonderful loop of video games. Like, you do something that's fun, you get rewarded for it. And once I have my armor set that I want, I'm not going back to that. Once tier 3 drops and I get my armor, I'm done. Like, it'd be cool if like other shit dropped, or like maybe stuff that's not in the loot pool, or like maybe some of those catalysts that they were supposed to bring back into the game from faction rallies. It'd be cool if they dropped from that.
Are you
Give
talking
me a reason to go back and grind it.
Are you talking
Which
like
they might.
your armor, like your sentry or whatever set you're talking?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then what's the point of getting the armor if you're not gonna play once you get the armor?
No, he's saying
Go
both.
do it in Gambit Prime.
He likes the loot, like the whole.
Oh, you're talking about not
purpose
going
of
back
this
into
is-
Reckoning.
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Okay. That's what I asked.
Yeah.
I was a yes or no. I didn't.
If you get what you want, that's the loot that's meant to help you out in Gambit Prime, there's gonna be no reason to come back.
Reckoning is
I-
going to
it's a
turn
fun-
into the farm. Let's put it that way.
I
And
think
it's a
Reckoning,
fun activity.
I think it could, have more in it and that we don't know about because we don't have tier 2, tier 3. And I want to add on to chat, and I looked it up as well, confirmed that March 8th, which is tomorrow, is when Reckoning tier 2 is out. So tomorrow, literally, we'll have something new there. And then on Tuesday is the new Gambit Prime match along with the Thorn Quest.
Map.
And then next Thursday is Invitations of the Nine and Reckoning Tier 3. So stuff's coming out as like fast. And then even after that, there's 2 more maps coming out. And then something called Arc Week, which we have no idea, and a spring event later. So they're every like week, twice a week at first. For the first 3 weeks, we're going to be getting new stuff, new tiers of Reckoning, Invitation to the Nine, and new Gambit maps. So tomorrow, though, is the Reckoning Tier 2.
By tomorrow, you mean Friday?
Yes. Sorry for listeners. Yes.
Good call.
Just because
Yeah.
nobody's
call.
gonna be listening to this till
time
Friday.
machine,
That isn't
forgot
here
about
right
that.
now. Yeah. Just clarifying.
Which
So today,
I want to bring up because you
depends
said
on Lego.
time machine
Depends.
has nothing to do with time machine, but the look of going into the Reckoning, because while I don't like the activity as much as Gambit Prime, the layout and the look and the graphics of everything to do with the Reckoning basically is amazing. I think like loading onto the ship, jumping through the portal thing into that area of the 9, the planes, and then putting a mode in and jumping through the next portal to go to the next place. And I imagine tier 2, if what we're talking about, Wilson, where like it could be like other areas that you go to within tier 2, I think it could get even more interesting visually. But it's like one of my favorite things. Kind of the way, remember when Curse of Osiris came out and I was kind of blown away by the portal entrances that you go through, even though that DLC wasn't.
Yeah, those are trippy.
Yeah, it just like visually looked really cool, and I feel like this did that really well.
have any of you guys actually looked around prior to jumping through that portal?
No, I did for a second, but only for a little bit.
There's actually a corridor you can walk down if you hang it. Like the second you load in, hang right and walk down a corridor. There's a whole thing there.
Is that where I saw a non-pig was finding little, I think, egg things he was shooting that has lore entries that you get from them or something like that?
Yeah, I haven't shot anything in there. I ran in there because I have a bit of lag between me and the guys I game with because I'm in Canada.
Ah.
So they all launched in and had immediately jumped through that gate. And then I loaded in and went, "Where the hell are you guys? I've never been here before. I don't know what's going on." And saw that they were behind me in the match. So I immediately ran behind me and found this whole area, and then discovered I was an idiot and had to go to this gate. So I didn't spend enough time there. But there's actually like a CCAN, like a storage area for the drifter that's back there, like a mini office.
Interesting.
So you gotta spend a bit more time in there. I'm thinking there might be some stuff in there. I'm not sure.
Which there's new lore stuff that we keep getting too from what's their name? They're leaving stuff for us at the Postmaster. If you've been checking your Postmaster, there's some lore entries coming in right now.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome to get, like, just the continuation of the story that started on BNet. Bungie was tweeting out like these little lore entries, and it's the leader of the Praxic order for the Warlocks who's talking to Ikora and the Vanguard about the Drifter, and it's their whole conversation. And then now
And us too, right?
And well, now they're messaging us. I don't think they were before. They were talking about us, but because they were looking into the death of Cade and making sure that we didn't cause the death of Cade. And they come to the conclusion that we weren't. But it's just interesting that now we're getting letters from them all of a sudden. And I don't know. I just like how the lore is coming out in little bits in letters from the Postmaster, all mysterious like.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Quickly, two things that I wanted to bring up. Matt Grundy mentioned in chat, in the Reckoning, it's cool that you can use like the raid rally flags too. That's kind of a new thing. But then the one thing I want to point out, I hate to be kind of the Debbie Downer, but we're gonna get tier 2 and tier 3 Reckoning, and we're assuming they're gonna be like in different areas, right? But you remember when all 3 Forges came out, and we kept saying, "Yeah, I wonder what's gonna be different about it," and it was just the different area. And by the third one, we were like, "All right, it's the same thing
I see what you're getting
in
at.
a different area." Do you think it's gonna be any different with the Reckoning, or is it just gonna be, "Hey, check out this new area, go do this when it's harder, or it's higher light power,"
which we
whatever?
do know it is going to be higher light, because that is the one thing that they said, I think, in the TWAB today.
Yeah.
Was that it was going to be, I think the last one is 690.
Yeah.
So, and 680 minimum. You can't even get in there unless you're 680. So, yeah, 680 to enter, and activity set to 690. And so, Wilson, you were talking about people just waiting. Maybe they're waiting and playing other activities, but we're going to have to get our light up before we can even do tier 3.
That's true. You're right. Like, it's not going to be easy, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like definitely the light level increase is cool and stuff like that for sure. Like I'm excited for it. It's a cool activity, man. I just don't want to see it like pushed to the side and forgotten about, like the fucking farm. I don't want it to be a playable space that nobody goes to, and it's just sitting there taking up memory and code.
The unfortunate part is it will be.
I mean,
like the
when
Reckoning serves a
content
purpose
comes out and stuff like that for sure, but like I'm talking about the longevity of this content. Like there's already some people that are freaking up there in light level, you know what I mean? Like you gotta have good luck, good RNG drops, but eventually at some point in time during this content, not during the next content drop, it will become an obsolete area. That's what I'm worried about.
And that's what I'm saying, it will be.
Yeah, I know that sucks.
Because it's the Reckoning's sole purpose is to give you armor.
I know it sucks. I wish it could give you more. I wish they could expand upon it in the future. So,
see,
yeah, I agree with you.
I'm kind of on the other side of the fence in that, one, for power level, because you were mentioning that as a positive thing. I actually like don't like the power level increase. Like I think I'd just rather play the game. I don't really care about the power grind. Isn't a chase for me at all. I know like for people like Loki, we had him on the Loki and River the other day, and they were talking about how power level chase like is a big reason that they play. And is an incentive for them. And for me, I'm just like completely on the other end of that because I just want to play the game and play the activity and have fun. But also with with the setting being like a place that is kind of played and then forgotten, to me that's okay. Like to me, that's just the way games are. Sometimes you have a location that you go to, it serves a purpose in its story, and it serves a purpose in the armor that you get from it. And I was even thinking about the story, just the way that you load into the drifter's ship, and the way you teleport over there, and the way you physically put motes in something, and that the drifter describing what the motes are, or them having descriptions on them. And I actually feel like I'm a part of the story when I'm physically doing all these things and being teleported to all these places. I feel like I'm contributing to the story of Destiny. Every time the drifter's like, this is what Gambit's been leading up to, you know, every time you enter Gambit Prime, like I feel like, and reading all the lore, especially what's going on behind the scenes between the Praxic Order, the Vanguard, and the Drifter, and how there's all this tension between what Gambit is, and you know he's doing something, you just don't know what it is. And so every time that I go, even into the Reckoning, it feels like there's some purpose to it, even if it is temporary. I just feel like there's some story elements in there, and I'm kind of sucked into that side of it. Even though I don't enjoy the Reckoning activity as much as Gambit, I still feel like I'm doing something important. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I think you got further off. I think at the beginning you kind of nailed it more than you kind of went off. But I get what you mean. Like, you know, I know this isn't a linear game, but like look at like a linear game. Like you may finish something and then you're done with it. You don't need it anymore. I get both sides.
A few other topics at first, at the end. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I think my biggest problem with the farm, as opposed to this, is it was just like, oh, hey, here's this new social space, and you'll literally use it until we just decide you're not going to anymore.
It was the overhyping,
Well, it was more like they tell you, like, okay, you get to this point, you don't use it anymore. Whereas with this, it'll be more like most activities that, like, you got everything from it, or whatever it may be, and then you just move on. So.
Like Mercury.
Well, I mean, that's just because Brother Vance was a bitch.
We purposely avoided it.
I actually tweeted out to Chris Parnell. I was like, how did you accept that voice actor job? Because that made me sad.
It was pretty rough.
It was really rough.
It was pretty rough. I know, especially since like it seemed like he took like a completely different turn from D1. Like in D1, he was all mysterious.
That's because he figured Osiris was never going to come back. And then Osiris showed up.
I'm doing a greater job at changing subjects than Hove is here, and that's weird.
It didn't seem like it was the same guy. Like he was a little bit more mysterious in D1, and then they just turned him into like the biggest fanboy of all time.
And he was pissed that Osiris liked us.
Oh, he was so mad.
Yeah.
Oh, how many books have you written about Osiris?
Yeah.
None, bitch, but I saved his ass.
17, you motherfucker.
I touched his ass.
Yeah, I touched his butt. Literally.
I do feel more, even though I don't like, just talking about the characters, even though I don't like the character of the Drifter, like I don't want to side with him, I think he's the most interesting character ever. Like just how he's so not black or white, and how he acknowledges stuff that we've done. Like he knows us. Like you'll make a play in Gambit, like maybe you slay just a ton of PvE people at once along with a high value target, and he throws down a line that's like, you're the one who slayed those gods, weren't you? Or something about like slaying gods, and I'm like, oh, he knows. The rest of the Vanguard doesn't know, but he knows what I'm doing.
Yeah, they acknowledge it. He'll even call you Dreadgen. Like if you have like a certain title, he'll like call you by your title. And like I don't have a title, so I was playing with my friends. Like, did you just hear that? And I'm like, what did the Drifter just say for you? And like I told him like, bank those motes, woo, or whatever he normally says. And like they're like, dude, he just called me Dreadgen. You know what I mean? And I think that's really cool that like I don't know, like you do almost kind of have more of a connection with this guy. It seems like he knows you better than every time you
The
go see
new
Zavala.
guy more than the actual characters that's been
Yeah.
with us for how many years
I
now?
think it's
Yeah.
cool though that plays into like his character. Like he's trying to like butter you up, and it's working.
And he does that.
I know.
With
Well,
other, the lore tab, or the ones that were leading up to this, it talked about him like, walking up to somebody who's just like raking up some stuff on the ground, and he tries talking to him, and he's like, "Hey, brother, why don't you let me like sweep that stuff up for you?" And the guy's like, "What? Why do you want to take my job?" And he's like, "Oh, just let me help you out," and becomes friends with him, takes his like broom or whatever, and then like sneaks in as a service guy into the Warlock Praxic Order to like hear in on what everybody's talking about as
Hell
a
yeah.
service guy. And you're like, wait, what? Okay, he's using them, but he's burning up. Is he a nice guy, or is he just getting?
He's the ultimate shady con man survivor. Like
Yeah.
he's doing what he's got to do to survive and get by, and if that means screwing somebody over, then so be it. Like,
See,
I
the
love
question
dude.
I have is, who is he actually? Because he's not actually Dredgen Yor.
No,
Oh no, yeah.
So you're trying to figure out who this guy actually is.
he
And to be honest, his I mean, he's an interesting guy, but I find Cade's story and his past more interesting than this guy myself.
See, the thing I like, and it's kind of like how you started with that too, Lego. Like he's really the first character we've had that operates in a gray area,
Yeah.
Yeah.
outside of maybe the Stranger. But she was interesting
Or-
for like 30 seconds, and then we still
Yeah.
talked about her for 2 years, but like never did anything. But
like,
everybody
He's
Yeah.
a
else,
hot
Morn-
exo. What do you want?
everybody else
Eris
was
Morn
like,
was kind of
Four.
similar in a way.
Yeah, but she-
She had some mystery.
she had
but
some
she
mystery.
Wore her heart,
yeah, you kind of knew, like she helped us, like flat out, like
Mhm.
she had some
she
weird
wore her
stuff
heart
going
on
on.
her sleeve.
Yeah.
We knew what her ultimate motive was. Fuck the hive. Drifters,
Yeah.
like I'll fuck you over. I'll fuck you over, and if it means
Yeah.
getting to the top, I'll fuck you over.
And
too.
nobody
Like,
knows what he's doing.
and nobody knows his motive. Like
Yes.
motive is the most important thing when trying to figure a person out. We don't know what the hell he wants. It's interesting.
I
It's
wanna
very cool.
know.
It's intriguing.
Hot pockets.
He gets me with a lot of
Definitely
those brother
Hot Pockets.
lines, like from like late '90s wrestling, when like everyone would just do that, like those monologues. I mean, that's how it butters me up, man. I'm just like, yeah, this is like Macho Man or like Hulk, or
Yeah.
like like Mean Gene on the mic there.
Jim.
Yeah, with the brothers,
Oh,
dude. It just gets
yeah.
me every time, man.
What you gonna
Yeah.
do, brother?
So I mean, I'm
Brother.
all in just from that. So
I thought you were
Well,
referring to the Attitude Era for a second,
Dude.
of
I mean,
wrestling.
obviously Macho Man, but like Hogan was back for I don't want to. Well, man, I think I've been a lot of derailing this episode.
I would
but,
say
like,
I
Hogan was-
never want to be called out for derailing anything ever again.
NWO, like Hogan was still doing that. And that was like Attitude. He was on WCW,
sure.
but that was
Yeah,
still during the Attitude
for
Era.
sure, absolutely.
I love the Attitude Era though. Favorite
Dude,
era.
that was the last good era of wrestling, unfortunately, in my
favorite
opinion.
era.
You know?
Oh yeah. Right.
Dude, Macho Man's so ahead of his time on the mic. I still show my kids like that Cream of the Crop interview he did that one
Yeah,
time.
dude.
Cream of the Crop was
The
fantastic.
cream always rises to the
Yeah,
top.
Cream always rises to the
Yeah.
top. He kept like pulling him out of everywhere.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
All right,
jeez.
back on track. Sorry.
Now, Hove, now you know how to butter Triton up. When you'll go out on a date.
Fuck Triton. He doesn't invite
Just
me
bring him a
anywhere.
Bring him a
Dude,
Macho
I've invited
Man
you
action
plenty.
figure.
I do want to point out
Oh, your
though.
brother.
Well, while we're off topic, can I tell a funny story real fast?
I mean, you got to just say it. You can't ask for permission because
Well, it makes it more fun because then I can see you get angry, but still tell me yes.
And then he's still going to do it.
or I could say no, and he would still do it. So either
Yeah.
way,
Do it.
I have nothing to say.
Well, now he's just gonna keep everyone waiting.
It's going to pop up
cast.
out of nowhere here in a moment.
No, he's gonna wait for you to get involved in saying something, and then
He's not going to
interrupt you.
derail
he's
the
going to
podcast. He's
interrupt
going to
me,
blow
yeah.
up the tracks.
You
We're
guys,
gonna crash.
you guys know the Drifter better than you know me. Apparently, go ahead.
Oh.
Oh, shots fired.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else new that we've been introduced to. Gambit, the original Gambit, played some of that. And it was nice not having to ever worry about a third round coming up. But honestly, it's still just, I just wanted to go play Prime, the one round, and the new mechanics with the blockers is way more fun. So, because the moat's draining, and like when you put down multiple blockers, that's so much fun. It makes me never want to play normal Gambit again. So, Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go back to that.
I feel you.
Other than that, the only thing I can think of that's like feels really new is comp stuff. Because competitive, I know you all played a lot of that, but they made a change right after we finished playing Wilson the very first day, which is so funny. They didn't put this in the patch from the get-go. It came like a few hours later, where you get double the glory points for your wins and double the glory points for your losses, essentially. So you will go up much faster, but you'll go down much faster if you lose. And I don't know.
I already go
whether to
down
think
pretty
of-
fast.
It's true.
I don't
It's
know whether to
true.
think of it as a positive or a negative. Like I don't. I don't know.
It's
what
a
to think
net
of.
positive for sure.
What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry. Am I thinking aloud?
No. Mana just threw something
Did you
down
just
his
crush
mouth.
a
I don't know.
pixie stick? What the hell was that?
Yeah, it's a pixie stick.
Did you snort it?
Oh,
No.
No, say no to pixie sticks, bruh.
Try it.
brother.
I was yelling at me
brother?
to wake up, so I had to, you know.
So you inhaled a pixie stick?
yeah.
Lego,
To
it's
get my serving size, I need 6 more.
yeah.
Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird that I mentioned snorting pixie sticks, and the next time Mana's on, he has a bag of pixie sticks?
It is ironic.
Wait, what? That's how it is. I didn't even buy this myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not yours.
They
That's
just
what.
anonymous-
That's the
Yeah.
anonymous
Shut up.
Tell
It
it.
might
Tell it to
Also
the
be
cops.
the second pack.
Yeah, that's what everyone says
Pixie
when they get pulled
sticks,
over. It
yeah.
ain't mine. It ain't mine.
You're gonna eat 3 at a time?
Yeah.
Dude, that's the way to do it.
Impressive.
Look at that. He just bites it. What a professional pixie stick
get-
addict.
So,
Get real
when I
close
was-
to the camera.
when I-
Get
when I
real
was a
close to the
kid-
camera.
When I was a kid, I used to actually eat these
You are a
because
kid.
I
paper?
didn't know.
Yeah,
didn't
no, I
know-
did too.
I thought the whole thing was like candy.
Listen, get a
Wait,
lie.
nobody told you?
No, no,
They
no.
just handed you pixie sticks and figured you'd understand it on your own at 3 years old.
I mean, no, I'm talking like, I just was like, it's so much easier to just eat it.
I just didn't care.
Well, although to be fair, by the end, the paper like starts to dissolve. You get all the sugar, and then you're just left with wet paper, and you just spit it out. But you don't have to do all this. You just walk around, you know.
It seems like way more work than just pouring it down the hatch.
I messed this one up, so I'm gonna have to eat it.
But
What?
Lego, you were talking about the
What?
comp changes with
Yeah.
how quickly
I didn't
your
open it
score goes
properly.
up and down. They implemented that right before the one game we lost against Blink and ZK Mushroom or whatever.
Oh, is that right?
It was
That's
minutes. They implemented it minutes before our only loss.
That sucks because you know how high we would have been if
So
we...
high.
You know,
Wilson was already really high.
It's a different.
So high.
No, but for real, like
It's right up there.
we won so many games in a row on that 5 streak at the beginning, and I'm still at 960, and that's all I've played was those games. So if they would have had double, I'd be close to 2000 already.
I'm saying.
Which
crazy.
Which makes me kind of like the change, but I kind of wish, which people don't want this because they think it'd make it too easy to get like not forgotten, but implementing some change where you don't get so many points for a loss, like
What's
it just
the?
is so depressing to be in such a long haul journey and get that loss.
Here's the
that
thing,
win
though,
loss
how-
that you
I mean, maybe
loss
go
is
on lost
depressing.
streaks to have you lose more or something. You know, like if you continuously lose, then I can understand losing a lot. But like
Here's
But
just
your
for like
first
one
loss.
loss.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing,
just
though.
like
What's-
one loss and losing like what 40 or something. Like
what's the number of points you get for a win versus the number you get for a loss?
It depends
it
because
depends
on
the
your
streak.
on the low, no, it depends on the streak and it depends on your rank. If you're at lower rank, you
it's
go
rank
up
too.
faster.
Okay, well,
and
just
if you
give
get
me-
up to-
Give me the numbers at any rank.
12.
I fucking hate you.
I fucking hate you. I haven't been paying attention to the numbers. I just know that if you go win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, you lose rank. I'm pretty sure.
at higher rank. If you go win
Yes.
loss at the beginning, you go. But once
Okay.
you get past like the mid rank,
Okay, so-
you start going down.
At lower, it's doubling the points both ways is still a net positive if you have the same
Yes.
outcome
I think so.
over the old system.
Pretty sure.
Okay. So that's all I'm saying. Like, it may seem like it sucks at times, but it's a net positive overall.
Oh no,
Yeah.
even like now and before they implemented that, it still sucked to win lose.
Yeah.
Like it's very
Right.
frustrating.
Right. I'm not saying it's not
Yeah.
frustrating, but if your positive points for a win are higher than your negative points for a loss,
For sure. For sure. For sure. I agree.
then doubling them is just doubling that gap. So like it's a net positive math.
Totally.
It just goes to show for me the frustration of the Pinnacle Crucible activity being this long grind and not trials. Like, I'm just really feeling that. The more they try to fix comp and make it better, the more I just wish we had a Pinnacle experience that was more like trials was, where it was like a shorter amount of time. And it ultimately makes me want to come play Destiny for the lore and go for the PvP. That's like where I'm still at. So
I've literally played comp as many times as Hove has gone into a strike.
I've done
Probably
a lot
less
of
than.
strikes.
Hope's played a lot of strikes, surprisingly.
significantly less than.
So you guys might as well
Significantly less.
have the Drifter on here. You know more about him than you guys know about me.
Please, you're a simple man. Strippers and Wednesday nights, and you're fine. Like, you're fine. We
You know?
Kidnapping Asians on a Wednesday
Know
night.
you.
You know, it's just,
That makes me sound like a human trafficker. Thank you.
Yep, all of that together. That's not a good look.
well, crap. The only guys you, I guess, steal is me and Triton. He can't get away from Asians. This is weird now.
Oh, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Hope's speechless. he started opening his mouth, and then he
Yeah.
just-
Now we
gave
know the
up.
truth.
Well,
What? What do I say, huh?
I don't think we can get any further downhill from here. Do we go? Well, actually, we can. Do you want to get
Oh,
to community
We
questions?
can.
Well, we
Are
can.
there, do we have anything this week, Chad? Do y'all
Well,
got
we-
anything
we
especially
do,
for Mav
and
here?
we have a couple things on Twitter, and I also have some stories I want to tell.
Okay.
I saved
I like
them for the
stories.
end
All
because
right.
I'm a good podcast host. So first one is from Chibi Kim for Mav. Tim Hortons or Starbucks?
Tim Hortons.
It's okay to be wrong. Next
Depending on where
question.
you
Never
are.
been.
I never been to a
If you're
Tim
on-
Hortons.
If you're
Yeah,
on
I've
the
never
west
been
end
to a
of
Tim
Canada, you want
Hortons.
Starbucks, but here you want Tim Hortons.
Actually, I never really been to either.
because I think they
so.
have a wider selection than Starbucks. Correct?
No,
No,
Tim Hortons
okay.
does not have a wider selection than Starbucks.
Totally in the dark. Then my bad.
Yep. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. Come up
I
to
still wanna
here.
try
I'll
it.
take you on a tour. You'll go up to CN Tower. It'll be gorgeous, and I'll give you a Tim Hortons, and then you'll want to move here.
And then he'll traffic
Yeah.
you.
You're
Hostile,
not an
As a
Asian
friend,
man,
though.
so Hope won't be
As a
interested.
friend, though.
Yeah, right.
Hostile Galaxy question for all. With Gambit Prime introducing roles for fire teams to play in, what role do you find yourself gravitating towards and why? Also, hope y'all are having a great night.
Aw.
You too.
Oh, thank
Hostile.
you.
Dude, Hostel's the one who was like
Nipple
carrying us at the beginning of our comp attempt.
Oh, it's that
Thursday.
hostile? Thank you for the carry. I appreciate it. I know I'm heavy when carrying around on those Crucible maps, but dude, I'm all about just killing enemies and banking moats. It's very simple, straightforward. That's what I want to do.
I want to be an
Right.
invader, but I'll probably be bad at it, and then everyone will hate me because I feel like
It's a lot of pressure.
that's probably
It
one of the
is.
more noticeable. Like okay, we need a big invasion, and nothing happens. Like I feel like that's very noticeable.
100%.
I
Is
haven't
there-
played it yet. So
I have an
Which,
average
uh,
invasion.
Which
my
guy
role is
does-
the egg roll because I'm
the
hungry.
egg-
It's racist.
Just because I'm Asian. Once again, God, keep on going.
So, which role is it that would do? Because I get confused because Century's defender.
I like pepperoni
basically.
rolls.
and then
Those are
pizza
good.
rolls. Ooh. And then
Mm.
which one? Because you
Buffalo
got
chicken.
Collector.
Pepperoni.
Reaper is
Steak
the
rolls?
one who is clearing.
I'm hungry.
Reaper is
ad,
like clearing ads, right?
Yeah.
Basically. I feel like Reaper would be more my role, but
Yeah.
Probably because
I'm
you don't
not-
pay attention to much else.
yeah, no, I'm just like kill the things. That's all I'm thinking about.
Plus, it
Reaper
gives you
Sentry
special
would be
ammo
good for you.
if you have
Yeah.
the armor set, and he doesn't
Reaper
have to be off
Sentry.
looking for it.
Yeah.
that's what I'm going for.
When I eventually do play, I could see being collector because I'm still after that like bank 100 modes without dying triumph to get Dredgen as a title. So I think if I go back, I'll probably do that. Well, not if, but like when I play, I would imagine collector would be probably the first thing I do.
Man.
Yeah.
Nana already answered with egg roll.
Well,
It is an egg roll.
I
That
feel
was
like
my
man,
answer.
it'd be Invader, but I don't know.
If we're talking about seriously, probably Invader.
Yeah.
But now I just want some roll of some
Egg
sort.
rolls. Yeah.
Buffalo
Orange,
chicken roll.
orange
I made
cinnamon
myself
rolls.
hungry.
Matt,
Cinnamon
did I
rolls are
hear-
pretty solid.
Did I hear you say Invader?
No, I said earlier in the podcast that I was invading and it was fun because I was actually killing things, but I suck at PvP, so I'm a Reaper or a Sentry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. The one thing about collector that like kind of pulls my heartstrings is the when you die you drop all your motes instead of losing them. I was like, that, I mean, it's a little safeguard. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
If you stay in your zone and you don't try and be the invader,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
which everyone seems to have a hard time doing, not playing the role.
Well,
In Destiny?
if you invade with motes, that's just on you, just in general.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm stupid.
Me too.
Unless you want that triumph, then
Me 3.
Gorniak has two very serious questions here.
Okay.
Mav, if you had to get a body tattoo from neck to thigh, what would you get and why? Also, the bag of dicks question. That's what he said.
I already did the bag of dicks question. I
Yeah.
think I did it last time,
I think you did too.
but I mean, I'll change my answer.
You had
Body
first bag of
tattoo
dicks.
from
Why not
neck to
second bag of
thigh?
dicks?
Neck to thigh, I would have it look like my skin is ripped open and it's all mechanized with gears and pistons and all that,
That's
all the way
cool.
through. Like
I thought that
steam-
was going
Hardcore
somewhere
Henry,
completely different.
which I just started watching.
Hey, I just actually watched that not too long ago.
Yeah, it's on
seen-
Netflix. It's pretty good so far.
That's actually what I want to do because I've got a crappy tattoo on my shoulder here. It's my old band logo. So I wanted to get that covered with same idea, ripped open skin with gears and stuff. My kids' names like imprinted on the gears.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
So someday I'll have money to do that, but right now I have kids, so I'm poor. And then what was the other one? The bag of dicks.
Yeah, but you've answered that already. They just have to go back and listen to cheap
But
plug.
this is the sequel.
Go back and listen. Or has
Find my previous episodes. They
or
were
has
funny.
Mav's life experiences changed his answer?
Oh, I'm gonna go with a bag made out of duct tape. It's durable.
It's like a lot of work that you have to like
Wow.
make the bag before you carry the dicks.
If I'm carrying a bunch of dicks around, I'm gonna make sure that thing is sturdy. And
You have
durable.
some pride if you craft your own.
Yeah, yeah. You want to make sure it's.
It's locally
You know,
sourced. It's
You want to
handcrafted.
preserve those things.
I'm gonna get a
10,000
neck.
years from now, they're gonna realize it.
I'm gonna get a neck to thigh tattoo of a bag of dicks.
How would one know?
I will pay for that.
that is what the bag is.
It's just like one big dick with just like a little pouch at the bottom.
One big dick.
It's a giant
with minor
monolithic
pouch.
phallus in a pouch. Matt Grundy asks, you're running from a zombie horde. You take shelter in an empty room, locking the door behind you. All is calm until you see a bloody hand drag its nails across the window before you. You reach for the doorknob, but what game would you most like to see in a 2019 HD remake?
Wow,
I was
that
really
was a
paying
weird-
attention. I was
Me
like,
too. I was really holding on to that. I was like, dude,
The
this is what
typo
I'm
in
gonna
there threw
do.
me off.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like an escape plan.
Yes.
What game would I like to see remade? Basically,
HD.
HD.
Yeah.
I want the
Okay.
Mass Effect trilogy, damn it.
Boom. I like
That's
it.
3 games.
Echo the
Um,
Dolphin.
The Dolphin. With 4-player co-op.
Echo the Dolphin with
Ages.
4-player co-op?
Yeah,
want
so we can get lost
PvP.
together.
I want PvP in my
I still
Echo the
got to
Dolphin.
get past
Yeah.
anything, man.
Actually, that's a great idea.
Echo the Dolphin?
PvP Echo the Dolphin. Comp Echo the Dolphin.
I'm pretty sure P-Dud have a heyday.
You just
I
slamming
don't even
into
know
each
how
other,
you
like-
do that.
I don't know.
Oh, do you remember the noise you make, like if you ran into the like a rock and make that little like squeak, like that little, almost like chalk, like a sun chalk on chalkboard type of
Ooh, I
For some
do
reason, I
remember
just
that.
Like a
remembered-
dolphin squeal?
No. It's kind
talking
of
about
a weird
running into
impact.
something.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
like a weird impact, but it's almost like a little scrape on a chalkboard. And I don't
That's
know why.
awful.
I just thought of it, and now I'm not going to get sleep.
It was an awful soundbite. It was.
It was.
horrible.
I think the pixie sticks are not going to let you get sleep.
Do you guys? Does anybody
I only
remember a
had, like
game
11.
that was Jesus Christ that was out?
No,
I,
it was-
I believe it was for Genesis. It may have been out for Nintendo at the time too, but it was called Phelios. Anybody?
No.
You
I
were,
mean, that doesn't sound very appropriate.
It's ringing a
Name, no.
bell. It's ringing a bell.
you're like on a Pegasus, and you like shoot fire. It's like a not a side scroller, but like you're flying forward and there's enemies coming. Like one of the. It was good.
Oh,
I wanted to read off some answers from chat. We've got Gorniak says Soul Reaver. KB
Oh, that was
Ninja
good.
says Legend of Dragoon.
That's a good one.
That was good
PS1.
too.
Hostile Galaxy says DK64.
DK64. That's solid. That's solid.
I'm going to give off one that none of you have ever heard. Advent Rising.
Yeah,
Advent Rising.
do not know that one.
Seems like a name of a movie.
Actually, look it up. It was written by
sounds
the
familiar,
story
but I
was written
can't.
by Orson Scott Card, and the game was it was an Xbox game, but the game there was a point where you saw where the budget died. You literally walked
Oh,
through a door,
really?
the budget was gone, and the game just turned to shit. But the story was so good that I've been dying for someone to remake it, and it won't happen. But that's my answer. Advent Rising. Look it up. It was an amazing game.
Triton, do
Space
you have
Hulk,
one?
a modern
Amazing
Space
story.
Hulk. Have you guys played that?
Do
What?
Space Hulk for the
No.
Sega Saturn? That game was scary. I didn't know how to play it. So, you're like these big hulking like space hulks.
Were you
Like
Hulk
Space
or
Dude.
was it just
No,
called?
it's just it's kind of like what's that one movie like Warhammer or whatever? It's just like the big costumes and you're these big hulking army men. But like you start off in a hallway and you have to get from point A to point B with your squad while fighting all these terrifying aliens. And every map has dark hallways. You can either go into first person with a gun or you can do a top down and give like orders to different team members, and you can like some maps have different squads. You
That
can
sounds
jump back and
cool.
forth. But
Yeah.
it was terrifying. I was so young though, but I was terrifying because like you can only see a certain amount of like feet ahead of you, and it was for the Sega. It was like the only scary game I've ever had. Like back then, I don't know.
That sounds
Having
awesome.
that remastered, but having like maybe a faster pace, like first person mode and all that. I don't know.
I'll jump onto that one with Silent Hill 2 would be the one. I know they did like a soft HD remake with on the Xbox.
I was about to say, didn't they just a flaccid?
Like a softcore one? Was it like
Yeah,
was
but
it like
It
softcore?
wasn't like a complete remake. Like they like Silent Hill 3 looked a little bit better in the remake, but Silent Hill 2 it could use like a complete revamp. It would be I think it'd be amazing. That's what I would choose.
Triton still.
mute myself.
Yeah,
turn.
I would just choose Final Fantasy VII the right way in their remake. Like, don't make it episodic. Don't make it like adopt the Final Fantasy 15 combat system, which was fine for that game. But I mean, like, I would just really want just update the graphics. And if you want to have additions, maybe throw them in like that flying saucer in Final Fantasy VII. So if you wanted games or if you wanted additional things or like now being in kind of a more online world would be cool. But
Oh yeah.
I really just want them to remake Final Fantasy VII with better graphics.
They were supposed
I
to like 3
so
years
want
ago at E3, and we've heard nothing about it, dude. Like,
Because they keep redoing it.
I think they did catch backlash when they're like, we're going to release this in episodes, and oh, by the way, it's going to be Final Fantasy 15 combat system. Like, I understand turn-based is not super popular right now, but I think the people that really want that game just want to play that game.
Because that
I don't-
strayed away super far from Final
Yeah.
what Final Fantasy
It was
7 is.
good.
And you could only play as
Good.
Cloud all of a sudden. Like, you weren't able to play as... It's like, wait, that's not the point. So you can only control Cloud like in Final Fantasy 15. I don't know. I didn't play a lot of 15, but...
yeah, 15 was good for its own standalone thing, in my
Right.
opinion. I don't want any 15 in my 7. Does that make sense?
Same.
Yeah, just leave it
Alright.
alone.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again? You don't want?
I don't want
Yeah,
any
no.
Final Fantasy 15 in my Final Fantasy 7.
In my 7.
Oh, the Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I don't want any 15 in my 7.
Yeah,
Okay,
no
yeah,
15 in
no,
the 7.
that was wrong with me.
But I was gonna say Final Fantasy 7, but I had a backup just in case.
How many of you
Um,
did Final Fantasy 7 actually got Knights of the Round?
Like, legitimately, or used like Game Shark?
No, like legitimately
Okay,
went
yeah,
through
yeah.
and got Knights of the Round.
When I was young, I did, and then never again.
That's
I
impressive.
never owned a PS1, so I had to go to my friend's house to play it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
Massive amount of
so
chocobo
bloody
raising to do it.
dedicated that I got that thing.
I only 100% of that game one time, and it took
Sweet.
me. It was when I was younger and had absolutely nothing better to do, and I'll never
Breeding
do it again.
chocobos.
It was
Yeah, like
awesome,
you had to
dude. The
breed a
gold
lot of
chocobo
chocobos
was
to
so
do that.
fucking
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, you had a
Um,
gold chocobo. Yeah.
I would say Chrono Trigger
That's a
would
good
be a
one.
good
Oh,
one
yeah.
that I'd like to see done in like a Final Fantasy 15 graphic style. The only problem is that it suffers from the silent protagonist thing where your main character just doesn't talk. So that's a big bummer. So if they like royally screwed that up and made your main character talk, like nobody would like it.
Okay.
They did something with Legend of Zelda, like an anime or something, and Link talked, and it was just awful. Nobody liked it. Like, because that's the thing about the whole silent protagonist. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that, like, your thoughts and how you feel about the situation is how your character is supposed to feel about it. But, like, sometimes it's also okay just to have your character talk. You don't have to agree with it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you could find a connection with a different party member. It doesn't have to be the main character. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Chrono Trigger would be cool. They kind of redid it on PS1 with Chrono Cross, and I didn't think it was near as good. So it was kind of a
No,
prequel.
So
Nice.
I'm gonna cheat because it's not really. I don't really care if it's an HD remake. Just games I want to play again that are super old. You ready? Because I got like 4.
Only 4? Weak.
I mean,
Weak.
Vector Man. Do you remember Vector Man?
Yeah,
Oh,
for Sega.
The dude that like fire, like almost
He's
like
like all
Mega
in
Man
He
type
was
deal.
made out of balls.
Yeah,
green-
and
Yeah.
shot balls.
Yeah, he
at
shot-
giant bugs.
It's
Yeah.
your dream date.
Yeah.
Electric balls.
Earthworm Jim.
Yeah.
Good call. Good call. Okay.
Same kind of genre, but not quite as good. But you remember Booger Man?
yeah.
Never
Yeah,
played that one.
he'd pick his nose and pull a big booger out and use it as like
Yeah.
a grappling hook to like traverse
Oh,
over a pit or something. He'd like Indiana Jones.
He
with
like
a giant,
he was wearing like he looked like the one of the guys from The Incredibles. He wore like a red
Yes.
suit, but he like
Interesting.
he had like a 5 o'clock shadow, and he like farted and burped on people.
his projectiles. He'd flick boogers on enemies and
Yeah.
like Booger Man.
But Earthworm Jim was fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, does anybody remember the Beavis and Butthead game
Yeah.
I've
where you
never
had
played
to
it.
get
They were
the
awful.
tickets to Guar? It was so good. That was such a good game.
Go back and
It was
play
a
it again and tell
terrible
me that
game.
that
It
was
end
so
game is
good.
I used to
Going
do
off
the
of
same
that,
thing.
the South Park game for the N64. That's a first-person shooter.
That's
Have
a
you guys
fun
ever
one.
played that?
That was fun.
I think I have played
It
that
was.
actually.
It was hard. The
You throw
controls were
snowballs and
not the
shoot some-
greatest.
There'd be like
Yeah,
aliens
snowball-
and shit
yellow,
that would
yellow
try to anal
snowballs.
probe you.
Yeah.
Okay, and
We could never get past the mission with
It
I
was
think there were
hard.
sheep chasing you or
It
something.
was super hard.
last
It was
one.
so scary.
I don't even know if any of you guys will remember this because I don't know if it was popular or not. But it was a game. It was like a fighter, just like a 2D side-scrolling fighter. It was called Eternal Warriors,
That sounds familiar.
and it was
I
like
It
don't
does
remember the
sound
name. I
familiar.
haven't played the game.
Yeah.
I know the name.
the exact. I don't remember exactly, but I guess similar to like Mortal Kombat, there was some sort of tournament, but instead of across like realms, it was across time. And they pulled like different fighters from different parts. It's like there was one guy who was like a 20s detective. He wore like the trench coat and the hat, and he like did all this stuff. And then there was like somebody that was like a caveman, I think, type of like they were from all over time. I don't know. It was really cool. I liked it. That's all.
Actually, it reminds me. There was a game called it was on GameCube called Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem. Do you guys ever hear that one?
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Lego, you got to look that up.
Okay.
Because that game was a horror game that not only just it
Sanity's
wasn't that it
Requiem.
messed with the character in the game, it messed with you as the player. Like
That's like
it was there were points
Hellblade.
in the game where I was like, "What? That's it?" And then the game would flash and would continue. I'm like, "Oh, okay. Just screwed with me again." Great.
that's like Metal Gear was known for doing that, and there's a indie horror game that is out on Steam everywhere. I bought it actually in one of the
Hellblade?
Steam sales. No, I did play that one too though.
Oh,
That
did you
one's
play it?
Really good.
I don't think
yeah,
you ever-
Uh-huh.
You never brought that up.
I didn't finish it yet. I'm like really close to the end. I played it while I didn't internet on like one of the band trips or something. But there was another game. I I cannot. It's like a trilogy of indie games that are all horror, and like you lose your sanity whenever you're in darkness, and like the screen gets weird, and you start hearing things and stuff. So it's like a similar kind of concept, not as deep as what
Like
you're talking
every
about.
night when I go to bed.
It's like you don't starve.
Those are just wet dreams, so it's okay though.
You have some terrifying wet dreams, dude.
Totally natural.
For hope, I guess.
Oh my god, she's hot.
Yeah. No, that was
well,
Mana.
I know there may be more questions and stuff, but we're getting pretty long podcast wise, and I know Hove also has some stories to tell. But before he does, I had an interesting thing happen today that gave me some, I don't know, good review of the podcast. I would call it maybe ammunition against Hove. I'm not sure. It's one of the.
I don't know what this is, but
Was
he
it
told
from
me.
Mav Jr.?
No, actually,
Remember that
it was
story?
I commented on one of Fallout's videos because he posted a new thing about like shotgun testing, which is
So that's
he's
who
just
it is.
yeah, and so that was hilarious. But then somebody random commented on the shotgun post after I commented on it and said, he was like, and Legolay Fusion arrives, laughing in Arentel. Love your podcast, by the way. It's too bad Hove doesn't have an off switch though. But wait, no. It gets better though, because he's just playing around, and he said, I told him like thanks for ammunition tonight, and he said happy to help. Tell him Dr. Hardscope MD says hi. I don't know Hove, just a long-time listener. Dude has an uncanny ability to derail any serious conversation with the most ridiculous innuendo imaginable. It's always utterly hilarious. Or just, crazy. And he said, never anywhere in the middle. Love the show. It's always the highlight of my weekend. Audio listener, have to work during the stream. Keep up the great work. So I thought that was cool.
you.
Just wanted to give him a shout out and props for letting me mess with Hove for a second.
Absolutely. That's a genius. We have the best
and I
listeners.
felt bad bringing it up because Hove has been so conscious of derailing the conversation, at least the second half of this episode. But I just had to say something about it because it was such a good review.
I don't think he has anything to say again. Look at him.
I know. Now I've shut him down.
We got him a couple times.
I've shut him down completely. But we have implemented the 7 in Hove Heaven, and I think that it might be the time.
Oh.
I mean it. Basically, I feel
the
like
first time we've gotten verbal verification.
From Lego. I mean, from me,
Yes.
but now I don't. Now I'm self-conscious.
Oh,
Do you
you
want-
messed it up? You ruined it. You
So,
ruined it.
Do you want? I mean, I'm gonna try to not. What do you want to hear first? You want to hear the story about chocolate or old people?
Old people.
Can you mix the two stories together?
No, I
No,
feel
but
like
you don't want to mix those stories together.
no. If I
Yeah.
mix
Doesn't
these,
sound
if
great.
I mix these two together, the old people would be dead probably.
That's
I
good.
want to hear
I
about the
thought it was
chocolate
good.
then.
Well,
I vote old people.
Because that's some baller chocolate if it's knocking out old people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, so quickly, I was at surprise, Eaton Park today, and
without Triton.
sitting behind me, or in front of me, across from me, was a very large table, probably eight or so older folks, like senior citizens, 70s, 80s. And I didn't really pay much attention. They were just kind of there. Except when the waitress brought out their food, and she would say chicken parm, and nobody would say anything. She'd be like, chicken parm? Who got the chicken parm? And everyone would look at each other, and then finally oh, maybe me. And then she'd put it down. And the next one came out, and she'd be like, I don't know, whatever the meal was. And one lady would raise her hand, the other lady would tell her, shut up, Susan, I ordered that. But no one knew what they ordered. So this went on for 8 meals.
Oh man.
No one knew what was going on. It was great. Okay, and the other one, I have an idea for something we can all do live on the podcast.
Eat chocolate.
Yes, actually.
I already got some.
So
I'm down.
it's called the Choco Challenge. And so there's this chocolate.
Oh no.
Are you guys in? Do you want to eat chocolate on the podcast?
I don't know. Explain it more.
Do you want to eat chocolate on the podcast?
I'd be back and I will crush you at any
I don't need a lot of candy or chocolate.
You just
Did
have
he
to
just
eat-
get censored?
Yeah.
I'd probably do it, I guess.
And I, you know,
So it's have you guys heard of the Carolina Reaper?
Yes.
Oh no,
Isn't that like a super hot pepper?
Yeah.
it's the hottest pepper.
oh, this is a bad idea. We're not. I'm not.
Yeah,
doing
I
False.
can't-
Spicy
Right,
chocolate?
it's the hottest
It is-
pepper in the world,
It is a
and I am
spin-off
not doing
of
it
the
again.
Carolina Reaper that is brand new called the Black Reaper, which is
Nope.
actually hotter, but they
Nope.
infused it into chocolate,
Nope.
and so
I
you-
will do this and suffer the Johnny Cash burning ring of fire, just because I can.
Wait, they put it on chocolate? That's like killing a unicorn with a bomb, dude. Why would you
Yeah.
do that? Like that's
It's more like
that's-
killing a unicorn with a blunt object that's on fire. But yeah,
Yeah. like-
Drinking the unicorn's blood and calling yourself Voldemort.
Don't say his name.
I'm sorry.
so I mean, you can look it up. A lot of people, a bunch of celebrities have done it. They're all still alive. So I mean, I feel like we should do it.
Maybe they're
I don't
stronger
handle
than
spice
us.
too well.
Keep in mind, it's infused
I
with,
like
so it's not
spice.
actually like eating this pepper.
But what if that's like creating the demigods of like spicy chocolate?
What the fuck
you know?
does that even mean?
Did any of you guys watch the movie Dogma? I feel like that's
Yeah.
how the Gorgothan is made.
Yeah.
So,
think you're onto something.
all right, we're in. Anyone who's here, you heard it.
Where
now.
do you-
I
do you
Yeah,
get
I'm
that?
down. I'm down.
okay. So one
You just
time
order it?
yeah,
I
don't
tried
know.
like one of the super
guess
like
so.
I can't remember like how hot it was because they had they have the scale of like
Scoville
what is like,
units. Yeah.
yeah. So it was up there. I don't remember what it was. It was called Satan's Blood, is what it was called.
Oh Jesus.
And
Yeah. I've
you
heard that.
but like we were just like putting dabs of it on crackers,
You were
and
dabbing.
eating it.
Yo,
And-
dabs. I love dabs.
It
Hashtags.
was the hot. I was. Some people who ate it they would just start screaming. There was this one guy who was like, "Oh, it's not gonna be that bad," and it was right after I had tried it, so I knew how bad it was because I just sat there just chugging sweet tea
Oh,
and
no.
milk. Well, not milk, just sweet. I heard sweet stuff is what you're supposed to do, so I was just chugging sweet tea and water. But then
Water's
one of
bad.
my old roommate came in and just like took a bite. Like he put way more on it. He's like, "Oh, I'm not putting a drip," and he put like, he like drenched his cracker in it and put it in his mouth. He just started screaming, like
Oh,
just like,
shit.
like
no.
we were like, "What do we do? Oh my
It's
god!"
over
The same hot
9,000.
sauce. I had a guy in my office. One of our managers had like a row of hot sauce on his desk.
Yeah.
Just loved it. And Satan's Blood was one of them. And the guy walks in all cocky and he's like, "Let me try your hottest hot sauce." And he's like, "All right, Satan's Blood, but just one drop. What are you using?" He's like, "Pasta." He's like, "One drop." Okay. Guy sits there and just freaking
No.
jerks it all over his hot sauce, right? And he takes a bite and he pulled a Dumb and Dumber. You know what I mean? He bit into it. It's just kind of tingly. It's not that hot. And then his
Oh,
nose
God.
started pouring out snot. Like it
Oh
wasn't
my
even
God.
like a faucet. And his face went red. And he's like, "No, it's good." And he just kept eating it. And we're like, "You don't have to prove this to anyone. You can stop." He's like, "No, it's fine." He looks like he's gonna die. And we're like bringing water to him. He's like, "No, guys, no, it's fine."
So quickly to finish this out, it's called the
Did you say finger it?
yeah, yeah, it's called the Fuego box.
Fuego.
And I mean, you guys aren't fans of prostate cancer, right?
I
Nobody
mean, I
here?
was thinking of getting some next week. but-
Because it's the Choco Challenge. Because for every bar purchased, they donate money to prostate cancer research. They've already raised $62,000, and I just thought that you guys
Just an
might
asshole.
want to help me donate to this.
You buy a bunch of chocolate bars, you bring them to the house of Guardian Con. We'll get everyone there to eat it. We'll videotape it.
But none of them are going to be here. Well, Mana will, but I'll make him eat it both times. It doesn't matter.
So the three of
what
us
the
will do it at Guardian Con.
Once again, I feel like I have no say in anything.
No.
That's
Come on.
fine, man. You'll have a bite of it.
yourself,
We'll all die.
Listen.
We'll have a beer. It'll be great.
I put the thing in chat, the link. The Choco Challenge is the world's spiciest mini chocolate bar. For every bar purchased, Fuego Box donates $5 to prostate cancer research, featuring the unreleased Black Reaper, a pepper hotter than the Carolina Reaper.
REZO
I will do it for
donated to
prostate cancer
research.
as long as we do it at Guardian Con. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
Let's do it in the house. We need someone to
you
do
can
it.
do it at Guardian Con.
Yeah, I'm not doing that again. Just
Again.
period. I can't. Not after the Satan's blood stuff. I just I'm done.
Come on,
I will spend an
Nobody?
evening on the toilet for prostate cancer.
right? You're
Did I
doing
tell you
some.
I'll do it at the end of the podcast, but if I do it at the beginning of the podcast, I'm
Oh
gonna
no, we'll
fuck.
do it at the end, but it's gonna be
Yeah,
on the
I'm
it's
down.
gonna be on
That's
the
fine.
air.
Fuck yeah. Got the munchies. I'll eat some
All right.
chocolate.
Me and Wilson are in. I feel like Mana's in.
Man, pull me back
Okay.
on. I'll do it with you.
Man,
Lego.
Pull me
Why
back
not?
on. I'll do it with you.
Ooh.
So Lego, you like prostate cancer, huh?
I mean, I could just donate to the research.
All right.
That's
Well,
cheating.
I'll need proof of the $5 you donate then.
The receipt.
Wow.
RezoCast is
Wow.
we did donate not that long ago.
I have a sensitive stomach, so this would destroy me.
You guys aren't fuego, okay?
Triton,
Letting
you're
us
in?
know.
Not.
No, I can't handle spice at all.
Did I tell you guys about
Can you
the Chex Mix that had the danger on it because it was so spicy? Was
No,
that with
but
you
I
guys
just-
or was it someone else that I
I
was
just
talking
want
about?
to point out that sorry, man. I just got to point out that Hoval Knight has been saying how much we don't know him, but apparently he doesn't know us. It's like he didn't know that me and Triton just couldn't take this.
No, I definitely knew. I just wanted you to do it anyway.
But I can't take spice either. I'll do it just because you live once.
Look, there's a video on the page that I put in chat that shows like Kristen Bell and Dak Shepard did it. Do they look
Not-
like people that like spicy stuff?
Yeah, I can totally see
they
Kristen
like
Bell
fluff.
loving
Yeah,
it.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Okay, Mana. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, I was just like the whole story about spicy and all that. A couple weeks ago, my one roommate bought just a simple bag of Chex Mix, right? And he thought it was just spicy Chex Mix. It had a danger sign on it, like an actual bottom right corner, like expressing how spicy it was. So he's telling me how it was making him cry and whatnot, and he literally gave me the bag because he was too afraid to finish it. So I'm like, how bad can it be? I like spice. So I'm just kind of eating it. And it's one of those spices that creep up on you. It doesn't hit you. And I really like the flavor. So I'm like, okay. And we're watching a show. I think we're watching Supernatural because they want me to catch up. And over time, I'm just like, kind of like Mav, your story kind of reminded me. I'm just like, but I'm trying to play it off because I don't want to appear as a bitch next to him after just shoveling it, all in my mouth. And over time, like next episode, apparently looks over, my face is red. And I'm breathing through my mouth, and there's nothing to drink. So first thing I saw was just water. So I went for it.
Mm-mm.
Regret. Oh my god, it was terrible. And I had to get up. I blow my nose. I was like patting my face off. He's just like, I told you. I'm just like, I tried to play it off. I'm like having a panic attack because of how long I was trying to hold it in for. But like, I was hoping he would leave the room or something or go do something else. So I didn't have to leave first. So I'm just there like quiet though. Just quiet. Just trying to play it off.
And you're
Dude,
alive, right?
You guys need to find it. No,
You're not?
a part of me's gone. My tongue's actually gone. This is a fake tongue that I'm using.
I'm a
But
little
no, if you guys find that, try it though, dude. I've never seen.
You're
Chex
you're
Mix.
not selling it. You're
Dude,
not
it's-
selling it at all.
I feel like it's like I have to share it though now because
well,
it's a
I'm
thing.
sharing with you
Like
the Fuego Box Choco Challenge.
Well, if it involves you and me, I have no say in it apparently, so I'm in.
Hey, your roommates did that, man.
No, you did that to my roommates.
All I did was tell them that they existed, which they should already have known. Also, do you know what else we didn't
Wait,
mention
what?
this entire episode? That strip clubs existed. That's what I...
No,
we
we
mentioned
You
that.
mentioned it earlier.
What?
You
Strip
mentioned
clubs
something about
definitely
strip
came
clubs
up.
already.
Yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But you know what we didn't mention is we didn't mention these amazing blue microphones and headphones that
Wait, what did I
we
mention?
since we are sponsored by
You
blue
mentioned strip
microphones
club
and
earlier.
headphones, and I just want to thank our sponsors for letting us use these amazing products. Even Mav's using one tonight. And if you want to find more about these amazing products, the microphones, the headphones, you can find more about them at bluemic.com, man.
There's a lot of wires.
You
Oh,
can
God.
use code REZOCAST to get a 20% discount. So yeah, go check it out. Because
It's
they're
backwards.
awesome. Mana tried. If you're listening to the audio version, this has got to be terribly painful, but it's amazing on the video version.
So many wires.
Well, we're getting pretty long with the episode here. So
Yeah, you are.
Well,
I'm gonna go ahead.
one very last thing before, since I got cut off before, what I was trying to say before everybody on the podcast jumped in, was that I didn't mention that we got cool new emotes in my channel finally.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to mention, and everyone was like, "No, Hove, we already mentioned that." So,
I mean, you said strip
I thought we were talking
club,
about
so I
strip
thought you were
clubs.
done.
no,
Definitely
I said,
not.
"Do you know what we didn't mention?" And then Mana said, "What?" And I finished answering him, but it's fine.
Okay.
Pretty sure
well,
you said
yes,
strip
there
club.
are some new emotes in chat, and I do want to acknowledge them because they are pretty awesome. Hove, it looked like you had something else to say about it.
Nope, I have nothing to say ever.
Okay. Well, if you want to come and check out this live, I think you would have a good time because it seems like everybody here has. But thank you all for joining us, whether you're on stream or listening on the podcast. This has been RezoCast, episode 125. Mav, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me
appreciate you
again.
being on.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, dude. This is like your third time, man. You're a regular occurring member now, basically.
You're here
Once
more
a
often
year.
than I am.
Once a year, I'm in. We went a bit longer this
Did
time, but once a
Did
year.
Amanda just say that?
What'd you say? I missed it. What'd you say?
I said you're here more often than I am, man.
I didn't even have to say it.
Once a year?
I know.
Jesus.
Normally Hope would say it.
Man,
I'd like to be here more often, but yeah,
Oh, well.
anytime.
This has been Lego, aka Lego LE Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Lego LE Flash. Hove, where can they find you?
Twitter and Twitch, HOV76 with emotes and Choco Challenge. Not derailing anything. You're gonna see a whole new Hove from here on out.
I don't know if I want to right now. Is this the new Hove right now that's breathing heavily into the mic?
I'm sick, man. I'm mouth
You
breathing.
are sick. I forgot.
That's why I've been
Sorry, man.
quiet.
You are super sick.
I meant more
Thanks.
so the heavy sigh. I didn't mean
Oh.
like, yeah.
Oh, well, in case anyone didn't know, I've been mouth breathing this entire episode.
I didn't.
Do you know
I
what's
didn't
the
notice.
worst
I'm-
about having a cold? Even if you don't feel bad but you're stuffy, eating.
Yeah, it
Because
sucks.
you can't breathe while you're chewing.
When I'm sick, I can't taste food. It sucks.
Yeah, I can't
It's
taste
awful.
it.
Yeah, same.
I smoke, so I
texture.
can't ever taste food.
Oh,
Touche.
Switch to a vape.
Nah.
vapor grind.
We're gonna go with
It's like he's
Triton.
sending us to be hosted.
It's like a
somewhere.
schoolyard pick. What the
That's
fuck?
wait, I
Just
thought
say
that was-
someone.
You did the order. Yeah, but you could find me on mostly Twitter. Triton Please, all one word. The please being the PLZ. How about you, Wilson?
You can find me in comp being carried by people like Lego, Mana, and their wonderful friends. If you find me in comp and you want to tell me how bad I suck, you could hit me up on Twitter. That's at Ryu Wilson, RYU Wilson. Holla.
Holla. But is
Mana,
it
what
your
about
holla
you,
back girl? Oh,
Holla back girl.
hi. You can find. I just totally blanked. I blanked so hard. I was going to say something about YouTube, and then I lost it immediately. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at the
head
Manigator.
Fucking YouTube.
At the Manigator. And I said last stream that I'm thinking about doing YouTube again because I'm actually compiling clips. But will I ever get to it? Probably not. So
How long have you
Dude,
been
your
on
your
this
weapon
show?
reviews were amazing. I used to love watching
Wait,
them.
you did weapon reviews?
He did.
Mhm.
He did like 4 of them.
I don't believe it.
And
A
the
couple of
ratings
them
were
got-
like from 1 to Mongoose. They were hilarious.
Is that-
From a
Well, I
1,
tried,
1 to
I guess.
Mongoose, I'll give it a raccoon.
Is this like the Halo Mongoose? Is that what that is?
So good.
Just do
I don't know.
trolley reviews, man. It'd be hilarious.
so
dude.
what week are we doing the Choco Challenge?
first the plugin. Hold on. You can find me at the
Yeah.
Manigator at everything. How about you, Mav?
Oh, yeah, smooth. Twitter is Rezo Maverick 045. I'm Twitch channel now, so hopefully the next couple of weeks I'll start streaming again. That'll be Rezo Maverick, or sorry, that's Maverick 045. And that's it. I don't do YouTube except for our Secret Santa every year, which is a joke. That's it.
It is a joke. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Mav, especially for joining us and hanging out, talking some Destiny with us, our Resolute fam. I guess that's it for this week. Until next time, y'all. GG.
GG's.